All right. Good evening, everybody. We'll pull this down here quickly. And there we are. I see we're already getting hammered over here at, I think that's Kick, but I already went and sniped him, so we should be good.
Oh, yeah. Hey, homie. Yeah, I see that. That's one of your guys, ain't it? Hey, homie.
Oh, must be. It must be. He can share it and stream and help us get 1,000. Yeah. Boom Country Hydrographics. Good evening. Good
What's up, buddy? Long time no hear.
So we got a pretty good show up here tonight. We got the newly elected North Dakota GOP chairman, Mr. Mathew Simon's going to be joining us here. But I'll tell you what, before we get going, what do we got to do, Jamie?
Second Amendment, baby. Hey, Matt, why don't you go ahead and do that one for us?
With honor, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
That gets more important every single day, I think. Every single day. So I want to thank our sponsor, LAUER Auto Repair. Powers this baby. That's what keeps her going. He's our top sponsor. By the way, Bloodline's back on with us, so we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Thanks, Jake.
I think we got a pretty good show lined up here with Matt. I think we're going to cover some pretty good topics. We do. And like I told you, we're not going to throw you under the bus.
Appreciate that.
I mean, it'd be a big bump if Matt went under the bus. If you don't know Matt, he's a pretty large American.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. But not fat. He's just
no. I didn't say that. I mean, he likes bacon like the rest of us. Don't get me wrong.
That's right. So, yeah. All righty. So with that, we might as well get rolling here. And you know, you. I don't know if it was an upset. I loved it when I heard the news. I think I sent you a message late at night going, "Oh man, that's awesome!" Basically congratulating you, Matt. And I've known you for some time now, and I was very, very happy to see that you took the lead there at the North Dakota GOP. So congratulations, Mathew, and I just know you're going to do a great job.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, Matt. Nice job. We're better off for you winning, buddy. No doubt about it. Out the floor a little bit there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine, and thank you both. I very much appreciate that. I'm a big believer in civic duty. We've watered down that term a lot over the last couple of generations to mean you show up once every 4 years, or if you're lucky, every 2, and cast a vote, and then you've done your part. And I don't buy that. I think if we truly believe in a country of self-governance, then we have to be the people doing the governing, and then we have to have an active role in our communities and society. So this opportunity presented itself. I stepped up. I was fortunate to, gain the trust of enough of the state committee to get the nod, and here we go. Let's hit the ground and run.
Oh, absolutely, Matthew. I can't agree more with you. I've done my fair share of that in one capacity or another, and I did back out for here. Well, recently, the last couple of years, I just haven't been very involved in our district. I had other things that I really had to tend to, but I probably have to get re-involved. And I can tell you right now, District 31, where I'm at, we do not have patriots in charge of that anymore. So it's a district that we can win back. We had it for 2 years, and I think we can do it again. So hopefully we can make that happen, and you'll have a great little district over here in the Sioux and Grant County area.
I just wish that more people understood the power that they have if they were involved in their districts. I mean, when you cast a vote for president, you're one of, let's call it 150 million votes. And really, it's not, the popular vote that elects the president anyway. So your amount of representation is really small. But if you get involved in your district, I mean, I've seen some of these endorsing conventions where you choose who your legislators are going to be in the state, that had maybe 30, 35 people in attendance. All of a sudden, you've got an outsized voice in, the governing process.
Absolutely. The districts are where it's at. And, and I know there's this whole open primary thing going on right now. That's been brewing for a while. I don't support the open primary thing. I think the parties have the right to elect their candidates. I mean, if you want to run, there's nothing stopping anybody from running. But I don't think we should have other party members voting in our party elections. I don't know. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, well, political parties are private organizations, and any private organization should have the right to dictate the terms by which somebody has to, comply to be a member of that organization. So North Dakota is really unique in that we have open primaries and no voter registration at the same time. That really guts the authority of the party, and the people that are actively involved in showing up and doing the vetting of these potential candidates. I mean, it undermines them and cuts them off at the knees.
When you mentioned the not register, no registration. Of course, I come from a state where we had it. I was pretty involved in South Dakota with a lot of elections at that time. So here's what I liked about it. I love the fact that it was, I think at that time, and I don't know what it is down there now, but it was like you had to be 90 days out, you had to register, or you couldn't vote in the primary election on that party. You could still vote, but you couldn't vote, say you want to be a Republican. You couldn't do that if you didn't do it 90 days prior. And I don't know what their law is now. What I like, though, from a standpoint of being on campaigns, I knew who my base was. We knew exactly how many members were part of the party because they were all registered. They didn't just claim to be. And I do find that problematic here in North Dakota. Always have when I finally came up to North Dakota and was helping on campaigns. We had nowhere to start with our base. There's a lot of people that say they're Republican and they're not. I don't know. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, well, twofold. You start off at a real disadvantage, and then you use a lot of your resources inefficiently because you're out trying to identify who even sees things in a similar fashion as you do. That's another hindrance from the way that we're operating. As far as knowing who your base is and being able to identify just if somebody's got an R by their name, does that mean that they believe the same things I do? Well, the purpose of the party and the vetting process is supposed to be to come to that conclusion. We have a platform that we've all agreed to. It outlines high-level ideals, and if somebody's running as a Republican, it's the duty of the party to vet these people. And the party is only as strong as the people who are actively involved in it.
Absolutely. That's true. That's a great statement right there. That sounds like a t-shirt. There we go. A new t-shirt. Say when. The party's only as strong as the people. There you go.
I expect royalties from that.
There you go.
Perfect.
But in the party's platform, it's one page. I mean, that's what I love the simplicity of it. It's one page. Hey, Josie, good to have you on. Another District 8 Patriot. Josie's tuning in here tonight. But I'm going to put that up right now. I think it's a good time to put it up here. So here's the party platform. This is North Dakota's Republican Party platform. It was established in 2023. I think that's when it was revised or put out there. You got individual liberty, personal responsibility, limited government, peace through strength and the rule of law, lower taxes, right to bear arms, family integrity, and the American moral tradition, quality education, and legislative integrity. It's a great platform, isn't it?
It is.
Now, people just adhere to it, right?
I'm bearing arms right now, see?
That is, adherence is a challenge. I mean, we have the same conversations nationally. When we've had prior administrations that just openly thwarted the Constitution, I heard a lot of people say, well, that's unconstitutional, but that was the end of their complaint about it.
Yeah.
And let's say, that the Constitution is just a piece of paper that represents a social compact. And if the social compact is broken and the other side is deciding that they aren't going to honor what's written in that Constitution, it either has to have an enforcement mechanism or it's essentially null and void. And the party platform in the state is the same way.
Yeah.
If this is something we agree to, then we need to be serious about that.
Absolutely. If you can't enforce it, then it don't really matter, does it? It's basically just a document that, all right, so it's there. And we saw a lot, I going through it. Of course, my favorite is right to bear arms. I mean, that's what we do here. We're Second Amendment. And it's pretty straightforward. We uphold the right of the individuals to keep and bear arms, a right which antedated the Constitution and was solemnly confirmed by the Second Amendment. And if you look at our state constitution, it's even written better than I think the U.S. Constitution when you get down to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it gets any clearer. Our Second Amendment doesn't get any clearer. But yet a lot of our Republican legislators.
I mean, it must be pretty cloudy, Clay, because the other party they got real troubles understanding that.
Well, yeah, the Democrat Party, we know, they're planking their national. I mean, they're all for gun control and trampling on those rights. And I didn't look up the state party in North Dakota. I don't know if any of you guys did. I didn't bother because I can see how they vote. But my biggest issue is those in our own party that seem to cloud that. wasn't horrible this year, but there were some things that were happening from our own side. You know, Ben Koppelman had some great things going, and when we got down to it, Todd Porter was the guy that was blocking a lot of the good stuff, and he claims he's a Republican. I mean, these are things that bother me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Clay was talking about ours is better. You know, North Dakota state constitution is better than the national one. Got it right here for you, Clay. Section 1, Article 1. All individuals are by nature equally free and independent and have certain inalienable rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property and reputation, pursuing and obtaining safety and happiness, and to keep and bear arms for the defense of their person, family, property, and the state, and for lawful hunting, recreation, and other lawful purposes, which shall not be infringed. Yeah, I like that. I mean, they went a little deeper than the 2A. I mean, the Second Amendment's easy to understand. I understand that when I was a second grader, for Christ's sake. So.
Yeah.
There's a popular meme going around social media, and it has been for a long time, but shows a guy envisioning that there's a time machine, and what would he do if he had access to that? And he goes back and he's sitting with, you know, the drafters of the Constitution of the Bill of Rights, and he says, rewrite that second one like you're talking to a fifth grader.
I mean, I'm laughing, but he's right. He's right, really. I mean, it seems simple to me already, though, right, Matt?
Yeah, it is, and I think the fact that there's so much confusion over the placement of a comma really speaks to, you know, the average education of the citizenry right now. If a person goes back and reads both the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers and some of the other writings of the time, it is incredibly clear what the intent was.
Oh.
And when they wrote this, you know, linguistically, again, people have changed over time. We speak a little bit differently, but, you know, I can't fathom any of them today would be, if they were able to come and see where we're at and say, I don't understand how you misinterpret this so badly. This is very clear. They were students of history, having just survived living under a tyrant. But beyond that.
Yeah, a king, right? Like the original No King's Day.
Yes.
Real No King's Day.
When it had meaning, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and let's face it. I actually had a whole article I was going to use yesterday when we were subbing for Daryl, but that had to do with how the king of Britain was going to confiscate arms, and they did. They went along and said, "Hey, just turn them in because we don't know who's with us and who isn't, and you'll get them back." Well, that turned into nope, and then they took more, and then it was very bad because all the people in Boston then were stuck there. They couldn't even leave because of it. And that's where that goes.
Well, I mean,
it's very clear.
People who would question it, I mean, just go back. If you read it and you think, well, I don't like the commas, and they're saying, they're not really specific on you go back and if you read some of the quotes and the writings of the founders and the framers, you will understand it. I don't remember which one it was, but it might have been Thomas Jefferson, but something on the line. I mean, and I'm going to just, give it my best go on it. He said, if you're ever questioning the Second Amendment and the meaning of it, take yourself back to the spirit of 76 and the meaning of the right to keep and bear arms meant when we were fighting for our freedoms against the crown. Which is pretty easy. Which is, to me, right, that means any arm there is, really, right?
Yeah, and he further specified that there was a private commuter ship that had written to him asking if they had the right to have a cannon on their ship because piracy was running rampant. And I don't remember his exact quote, and I'd butcher it, but it's something to the effect of, "Why are you asking me? Of course you can."
Love it. Love it. I mean, we got a few people that say that now, Matt, but not a whole lot of them.
Which,
right?
by the way, we can still have cannons. By the way,
Yeah, Biden. And tanks.
Yeah, we got one sitting right there. We happen to know a place where there's one sitting. So.
Yeah, we do in Mandan.
So I getting back to the platform, I think it's very well written and very to the point as to where the party stands. I mean, I don't think we could even do any better. Do you, Matt?
No, I think it's fantastic. And when you just read the platform plank on the right to self-defense, you mentioned the word annotated in there, and I think that was just a very wide use of verbiage because it says a lot in a simple word that not only do we have the right to bear arms, and not only is it codified in the Second Amendment, but it antedated, or it came historically prior to the ratification of the U.S. Constitution, because, again, we believe these rights are inalienable and granted by God, not by government.
Right. And if you don't know what antedated means, Matt just pointed out, it means
I didn't.
this,
Thank you, Matt.
this comes before us. This was it's a God-given right. We were born with it, plain and simple.
Well, I mean, if you don't think the right of self-defense is, I mean, just, it's in my mind, not only is it God-given, but it's inherent. I mean, go up to, if you ever hunted or done anything to an animal, they can tell, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to do anything they can to get away from you or harm you before you do it to them. I mean, it's in your brain. I mean, if you're not wired like that, right? Like if somebody comes up on Mathew or Clayton with a knife, hey guy, can we talk this over? No, you're not going to do that. You know what the hell he wants. He's wants to stab that sucker in you and take what you want. And in my mind, you do what you do to make them not get their way with you.
Thank God we got stand your ground basically in this state now.
Yeah.
There are several good bills over numerous legislatures that helped advance that along, and lots of tireless work by several. Very much appreciated.
Well, when we got that passed, Matt, we actually, I don't know if you say we pulled a fast one on them, but we really didn't. I've been in that arena a long time. You realize that Jeff Magrum, he introduced a bill that I wanted and he wanted. So we introduced it. Ben Compliment had his own. So we advanced them both. Remember, Jeff was in the House at that time. And we actually basically, I forget what we named ours, but it was not as PC as Ben's was. And we knew what we wanted. Ben's is what we could live with. We knew we wouldn't get it all. So ours was pretty extreme compared to what some thought. Well, then we made the concession, and guess what? We withdrew and the other one passed. I mean, this is why I hate politics, but that's what you got to do. That's the game you have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Matt, like, what is your plan for? Because, and I'm not, hey, I thought, I didn't like Perry, right? And I never heard Perry say anything about the Second Amendment or guns. And Sanford, I like her. I got along. I thought she was great, but I never heard her talk about. When I went in, her and I had some discussion, Sandy about Second Amendment and everybody there at headquarters. What's your? Are you planning on, like, not only just? I know you're a staunch defender of the Second Amendment, but do you have a plan to actually promote the Second Amendment right here in North Dakota and the Republican Party? Because the other party is 100% polar opposite of what we are, especially now. I mean, the leftists are insane now, but do you have a plan together for the Second Amendment, or are you still getting one going here for promoting the Second Amendment right here in North Dakotans?
Yep, still devising a lot of the specifics of the vision. That's going to take some time and collaboration.
Understandable.
Through, but I think, hearkening back to the discussion we were having on, it's great that it's in the platform, but if it isn't reinforced, if we don't constantly come back to this, then it doesn't have teeth and it doesn't have a lot of value. We need to first be passionate and show that we really believe in this. If we expect anybody else to be passionate and believe in it and support it also. So yes, I have every intention of being a champion for the Second Amendment, always have been, long before any official capacity in the political sphere. Because I'm a student of history. I've read enough books, and I've seen modern history under the Biden administration, for example, under the Obama administration. I've seen how quickly this can turn south. It takes no time at all to lose a right if you aren't willing to defend it.
Well, like Reagan said, one generation is gone, and he was 100% right on that.
And I can vouch for that. I know that Mathew's a very, very supportive 2A guy. I mean, I don't question that at all. It's just like, no matter what other people might have, Governor Armstrong's a friend of our show. And I can tell you right now, when it comes to 2A, he's right there. And he did numerous times sitting in the House. He'd be on the floor, or he'd be in those judiciary committees defending the Second Amendment to the core.
There's some great videos out there, man.
I don't question him.
He rocks at defending the 2A.
I look at it like this. We got the most pro-Second Amendment governor and the most pro-Second Amendment North Dakota GOP chairman now, and that's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jamie, you asked about, plans and how to promote it. I just ran out of time before the show, but I was working on buying some brand new flannel and some brand new Hunter orange.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
I
funny.
got sidetracked pleating my new Carhartts that I've never worn, but
Make sure you practice that the liner. Is this where I get me a hunting license? No, who was that again? Well, that wasn't Al Gore. Who was the guy before that? Right, he went to Iowa there, and he was going to go goose hunting. Oh, the guy who punched the Swift boat and tossed all his crew off the back and kept going.
Kerry?
John Kerry?
John Kerry, yeah. He came in there, like you said, Matt, he had the fresh orange on and the flannel, and is this right? Give me a hunting license? And all NBC was there and all the rest of the lamestream media, and yeah, they got him on there, and it's just like, oh, you guys don't know how cringe that is to normal people.
Yeah,
if you aren't raised around it, it's a whole different culture.
Yeah, for sure. And like Clay and I have said many times, just because somebody's a hunter, don't confuse that with a pro Second Amendment person. I mean,
Right.
Most of them are for sure, but I mean, there's definitely some that aren't. And hey, anything we can help you out doing, promoting the Second Amendment, for the whole platform, really, but specifically that. I mean, anything you need, man, you just let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You
Take
bet.
you up on that. Happy to leverage the support and the following that you built.
Yeah, and anytime you want to come on here, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely. That's
Might
that's
scare off some of your viewership.
What's that?
What's that?
It might scare off some of your viewers.
No, I don't think so.
doubt
I don't think so.
Say when. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break with our headline sponsor. This baby's powered by Lauer Auto Repair. We want to thank Axe and the boys down there. We'll be right back after this short break, and we'll come back and discuss some more 2A, and I don't know, maybe we'll get a little farther into that platform with you, Matt. We'll
Yeah,
see.
let's do it.
Stop in at Lauer Auto Repair. They're located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota, or give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can tackle any problem your vehicle is having, and when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with the Pro Second Amendment America First Repair Shop. There's plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area, but why take the chance of patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake, Lauer Auto is your Pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them you heard they're a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our Pro Second Amendment, Pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308, located at 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right, we're back. I beat you to it. I got my orange.
Damn, and you even played the old school freaking Lauer ad, Clay, there.
I did. I pulled that one out because I just didn't have the new one separated from the rest, and right now that's one.
I like your FUD get up there, man. It looks good.
It's awesome. All I need is a single shot shotgun that looks brand new, some new boots.
Yeah. I mean, Clay probably could grab a new shotgun, but if he did, we'd immediately get sniped. So
Let's see. Yeah, I got one over there.
Clay, why don't you? We got a whole shitload of comments. So why don't we get on those before we get into a little more?
Go ahead. Go through them, Jamie.
Let me scroll back here because we are way back. So, Matt, you're generating a lot of comments here, buddy. So I like that. Let's go way back. The way back machine, like Scooby Doo, isn't that where they did it? All right, Boom Country, you got that one, Clay. Evening, Boom Country. Brian Warner, good evening, my fellow MV, back from Alaska. Made it back from the great white north up there. And good evening, Dave, Eric Newman. Good evening, gents. Shot some prairie dogs on the way home from work. Now he's grilling pork ribs and sipping whiskey, and my wife's 43rd birthday today. Happy birthday, Mrs. Newman. Awesome. What kind of whiskey you drinking anyways, Eric? It's not some cheap shit, I hope. Good evening, Trampus. What does he drink, Clay?
I bet it's Pendleton.
Is it? Okay, good stuff right there. I like me some Pendleton and 7-Up. Dave Fettig, so shut the bus off. Got it. I don't remember that one. That was a while back. I'm One Shot Cap. What's up, Patriot? Corey Merriman, he's getting in. What's up, fella?
Corey.
Oh, Josie Milburn, like you said, Matt Simon. Whoa, is that really you? Lynette Billman. Lynette Billman. What the? She's going back to her. She must have a. Oh yeah, because she said here, YouTube's format is so much better to the show than Facebook. That's why it's not Lynette Wolf. She's got like her pre Lauer Auto Repair name there.
Okay.
The name I've knew her from when I was a kid. Travis Jensen, great fellow to lead the party. Absolutely, 100%. Travis. Kenny Lanou, getting on us from the eastern part of the state. Eastern edge. We got western edge and eastern edge. All we have to do is look at how the so-called Republicans, he's got it in quotes, voted during the last session. Way too many votes against the Republican platform. Voted with the Democrats. Deep down, they were always Democrats. They couldn't get elected, so they decided they had to act like Republicans. I mean, there's definitely some of that. I'm not going to disagree with that. Travis Jensen, Porter masquerades as a Republican and sportsman, but goes against both every chance he gets. We see his true colors during the CWD debate. Yeah, he was. I was disappointed today. I saw something. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole. I'm just a deer page I follow on Facebook, and this guy was saying if they get CWD, they die no matter what. It's a death sentence. Josh Patterson, what's up, fellas? Late to the party. Josh, as usual, better late than never, buddy. He's Josh's out there. He's a construction worker, running the backhoe, getting everything leveled off for doing them houses, and does a damn good job on. Not only that, he was out shooting some prairie dogs last weekend with his family. Looks like they had a great freaking day too. Love it. Dave Fettig, I think the next here you go, Matt. I think the next convention start with a cannon salute and the national anthem. And one of Matt actually with his AR-15 doing a ding 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 on the steel, right? Lynette Bill, he's another Tim Walls. I don't know if she's saying that about
me.
Maybe no. I think she's saying that about our governor. Maybe. I mean, I'm going to definitely disagree with you on that, Lynette. Brian Wander says MVEs don't scare very easily, Matt. You know what the MVE is, right?
Educate me.
All right, remember Biden and the FBI? If you got a NRA flag, if you're out promoting the Second Amendment, if you got the Betsy Ross flag, and if you do patriotic things, you're a militia violent extremist. It was an actual real thing.
Yeah, that's right.
So every week when Brian comes on, he says, good evening, fellow MVEs. And we take that as a badge of honor for sure.
Well played, Brian.
Yeah. Eric Newman, Pendleton. Yes, sir. Love it. Lynette says, that's how long I've been on YouTube, way back to Billman. Tom Donaldson, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, sir. Glad to have you on. Doug Thompson, evening, heading back home from Watford. Good to have. Appreciate you tuning in. We made it to all the comments. Clayton, you want to get back into the platform here? Let's do it with the newly elected chairman.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Again, thanks to everybody.
Matt Simon.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, thanks for listening. I got the little donation thing in the corner. Some people did that last week, so thanks. We appreciate that. I did start, by the way, to put the subscription link in there. It's
Perfect.
not up and operational yet. I tested it. It didn't work. I know what I did wrong, so hopefully by the next show, you'll be able to do the subscription deal and do it straight here and not do it through YouTube where they take their cut. So appreciate everybody supporting the show.
So to clarify, Lynette said Tim Walls is another McCain. I mean, honestly, as crazy as this sounds, I'll take John McCain over Tim Walls any day.
Oh, my phone's ringing. Thanks for listening, whoever is calling me right now. Glad to have your support.
Hey, Clay, maybe once you get that donation link up, they can do it, and
Yep. And this one here that we got in the QR code, that's not the link. We'll have one just for that, and we'll put the link up when we get it running. So
I know we say this, but I'm going to hit it real quick, and I'm not trying to hold you guys up. If you go only here for a short time, hit that like button. Trust me, guys and gals, that helps us out. It drives activity when they see likes going up, when they see views going up, shares going up. The algorithm drives people to our site and our social media pages. So if you're just here for 10 seconds, hit the like button and say, I got to go sit on my back porch and have a Coors Light with some clamato juice or whatever you got to do. Have a cigarette, take a big chew of Copenhagen, whatever.
Yeah. No, it does. I've noticed already that we've had a big uptick. Sorry, Matt. We're kind of
It has. The last 3 weeks, we've been pushing it. I mean, it has been. Now that I said that, anyways. All right, go on.
I'll put it to you this way.
Bob, you may proceed.
Well, I pulled the stats, Jamie, from our online stuff and the donation stuff. We've pulled in over $900 in our donation thing over the last year. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
I guess we should have been mentioning it more.
Appreciate everybody doing that. I mean, $900 doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're doing a live stream, and when we got great sponsors, don't get me wrong there, but we're not Joe Rogan, and we're not I don't know who the other long-haired guy is, who I can't believe he's a famous live streamer, but he is. I know he's on our side, but weird dude, and I'm just like, I don't get it, but okay.
So absolutely. All right. Well, I guess let's get right back into this. So I agree, Matt. We need to get that forefront as far as the Second Amendment, and yeah, we're definitely on board. Whatever you need, give us. You got my number. We know how to make this happen.
Yeah, Doug. Yeah, I'm gonna put this up there. Here you go, Clay. Now you know who called you.
Nice.
Freaking Lauer Auto. Your car's done. Come get it.
So there's about 10 things in this party platform. I don't know. Do you want to go through them, Matt, or not?
Yeah, let's do it.
So the first one, of course, at the very top of the page there is individual liberty. It says the rights of the American citizen proceed from the creator, not from the government. Government authority proceeds only from the consent of the people. Individuals, including the unborn. Wow, huh? Address that at the moment. Have the intrinsic right to the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So pretty straightforward. I agree with it. It's a great thing, I think, to have at the very top of that. And, when you go look at what happened in the legislature this year, we once again really failed to protect the unborn in a lot of aspects. There were some great bills in there, and they just didn't go anywhere.
There was
very disappointing.
A personhood bill that I know got a lot of heat from both sides, and unfortunately did not pass. It was very, very close. But listening to some of the back and forth on the floor, it was very disheartening.
Yes.
The argument I heard the most is that there was a concern that the way that it was worded would prevent the removal of an ectopic pregnancy. And that's just simply a misunderstanding of the plain language. I mean,
it wasn't true. That was unfactual.
No, and that's frankly, that's a Democrat talking point, and I was disheartened to see it used on our side of the aisle. Yeah. Nobody with any reason or common sense believes that an ectopic pregnancy is a viable pregnancy. So when they're talking about not terminating a viable pregnancy, well, an ectopic pregnancy is not viable. There was no concern that somebody would allow an ectopic pregnancy to continue to the point where it could damage or kill the mother. That was never in the bill. It couldn't even be read into the bill.
No, absolutely. But that's what the other side does. I can't fathom the idea of being part of a party that wants to kill babies. I mean, let's face it. I always used to say it. They're not pro-choice. They're pro-death.
Yes.
We're pro-life. They are pro-death. They want to murder little kids in the womb. It's unbelievable to me. I guess.
I mean, some would say out of the womb.
And yeah, some of them want to just right up to
all right, I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, go ahead.
And if you've ever watched an abortion video, I recommend that you do it, but I'm telling you, it's sickening.
I would say this, Clay and Matt, buddy of mine, many years ago, before I was even married, I was pro-choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he showed me. And matter of fact, we were going to the gun range. I remember that. And he's like, we were talking about it. He's like, watch this video, and I was like, okay. And I think it was called Silent Scream when I watched it. And I can tell you right then when I watched it, I looked at him and I said, I've been freaking wrong my whole life. I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah, and one of the big issues that I have with it is the discussion, I think, started off as people having a genuine disagreement, but that's not where we're at anymore. It's morphed into just absolute, it's a demonic practice. And we like to think that, we're so advanced as a civilization, but really tell me the difference between, the pro-death, pro-abortionist cult that's out there and the ancient Israelis, or Israelites, excuse me, that go through the Valley of Ben Hinnom, and they'd sacrifice their babies to Moloch to try and get it to rain. I mean, it sounds ridiculous when you read it in a modern perspective, and then when you look and tie it to what we're actually doing today in society, we're doing the same
That's what we're
thing.
doing.
We just think that we're enlightened and that this is a medical procedure now. And, we use soft little cute colloquialisms and euphemisms to make it sound pretty. And it's not. It's child sacrifice. It's ritualistic child sacrifice.
Well, remember how much flack Mel Gibson got for doing I don't want to say millennium. What was that movie when he did the whole thing about the Mayans down in Central America when they had the power and they'd sacrifice hundreds of thousands? You're right, Matt. I mean, when you boil it down, we're still animals, really. I mean, technologically, are we advanced? Yeah, I mean, amazingly advanced. But when you get down, I know I seen a quote somewhere. Somebody said, "Take away all the power, the electricity, and amenities, and it's just all going to boil down to freaking survival again." That's how. I mean, I hope it doesn't ever get to that again. But you're right. I mean, in my opinion, that's what people are when it gets down to it.
Terminology, and that's what you were talking about, Matt. Terminology is everything. We changed the terminology. I shouldn't say we. The other side always is changing the terminology. It's gun violence. It's a fetus. It's a medical procedure. It's gender affirming. These are all just code words. And
there you go, Doug. Apocalypto.
Apocalypto. There.
Yeah. And what's frustrating is that it's not like this is a novel concept to bend language. I mean, Orwell was writing about this in 1984, and book 1984, which
the book,
1948. But that was a big premise: is that the government would come up with the Newspeak edition, what it was compelled speech for everybody to use, and when a word got to be problematic, they threw it down a memory hole. They eliminated all historical records of this word ever being used, and you were required by force to use the new terminology. And he was writing about this forever ago, yet we see it play out today. And I think there's a lack of identifying it because it should be identified, called out, and ridiculed.
Well, I remember where we're seeing it the most, Matthew, in my opinion. Government schools, as I call them. Some people call it public education. The government schools and colleges. That's where it really takes its root because that's the language they use. And they don't allow you to do anything else. I even saw it. I graduated in 1993. I did go to NDSU, and I didn't stick it out long because I couldn't be warped and reprogrammed. So I didn't fit in well there, and I didn't need their college. I came back and was successful anyway. I don't know why I went, but I think that's one of the root causes. You look at what's happening in those education systems, and that's how we got here because that's what they teach them kids.
Yeah, what's frustrating about that is that we have a lot of higher education institutions that predate the official founding of this country because it was very important to a religious upbringing of our founders that had institutions of higher learning where people could be properly catechized. Now that's warped a lot since, say, the 1950s in particular, when you had a lot of communist refugees come in and start to infiltrate the institutions. And they were precise in their planning. They knew what they were doing. They said, what are the levers of power institutionally that if we could get a hold of, we could use to demoralize and undercut the Americans? Well, government, education, healthcare. I mean, these are places where if you can come in and you can take over and you can start to program people, you can have a lot more success than if you tried, say, a land invasion.
Well, even the religious organizations or religious, churches, we have seen so many churches that do not go with Scripture. They go the opposite, and they go exactly the route you're talking about. They have completely inundated those as well.
Yeah.
So Matt,
the world and not of it, and I think they're missing that point.
A lot of people don't think I can read, but I did read 1984 in high school too, in the 80s actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the book, he said like people are going to in the future walk around like hooked up to handheld computers, right? And that's pretty much what a cell phone is. Wasn't that in 1984 part of that?
Well, they had a concept called the telescreen, which was essentially a large television that could see and hear you in your private residence, and then
that's what
the public square. And that just morphed into these things.
Yeah. These things here, right here.
Send me some ballistic tips, about 1,000 of them. See if it works.
But yeah, you think about that book and when it was written and what we're seeing now. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be a guide.
I mean, it's like Nostradamus wrote that thing.
Well, and the thing is, you think about when he wrote it. It was right after the end of World War II, and Orwell was a European citizen, and he saw some of the corruption in the French governments and then in the the communist revolution over in Russia. And especially in Russia, that's exactly what they were doing. I mean, he was writing tongue in cheek of real life experiences that were happening, and then just set it in a futuristic America. But, you know, he didn't come up with this idea whole cloth. The idea was there. And it comes back to my point I made earlier about, you know, we repeat patterns because we don't understand them, because we think that we're wiser than everybody who came before us. And it's just hubris.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Well, and I do believe, too, we do not teach history. I was fortunate. You know, the GI Bill sent many World War II and Korean veterans into the education system in the 40s and 50s. So I was fortunate to have those teachers still when I was going through school in the later 80s, early 90s, and basically taught us, hey, listen, this is not what they say it is. This is propaganda. This is not. This is history. This is not. But they don't get that anymore. I mean, when I had to sit down with the government teacher that my son had, I flat out asked her, I said, what are the 5 parts of the First Amendment? She couldn't tell me. Now, if you're teaching government in the Constitution, wouldn't you be able to name those 5?
I think anybody doing that would be able to recite it, whether they believe it or not.
Right. And this is the problem. She couldn't tell me how many amendments there were to the Constitution. She did get the Bill of Rights correct, the first 10 amendments. But
did she at least know the 19th?
What's that?
Did she at least know the 19th?
Probably not. She doesn't even know that gave her the right to vote. Probably.
Repeal it.
I should have asked her that. Maybe she's.
She should have. More Republicans voted for that than Democrats. Repeal it then. Wait a minute. You better read it.
I thought you guys said you weren't going to throw me under the bus here.
and women suffering, right? Did you ever see the Man Show when he was going around?
Yes.
Hey, let's end women suffering. Get rid of the 19th. People were signing it.
Yes.
Yeah. So we get. Let's hit some of these comments here. Josie says, ectopic pregnancy is a medical procedure, not an abortion. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, Matt, when you told me that's the first time I ever heard that saying. So
really,
yeah. Dougie says, Doug Wolf, unfortunately, abortion numbers are up, which they are. Buck Sexton and Clay Travis have said it a number of times. Oh, they're banned. Nobody's having them right now. They're actually up. So
they're in your mailbox now.
Yeah. Exactly right. Josie, Lynette Billman says, okay, Apocalypto, we got that. Ritualistic child sacrifice, but now they do it in the womb. Exactly what Satan wants. People should watch Nefarious.
Yes, it's a fantastic movie.
Great movie.
Okay, I've heard of it, never watched it.
Yeah, it's by a podcaster named Steve Dace. And
I know Steve Dace is, for sure. Glenn Beck associate there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Brian Warner sounds just like the term gun violence. Josie Milbrandt, force both parents to have to work because of increased taxation. Take the child from the care of the mother and protection of the father and put them in publicly funded institution. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do, right? Yeah,
that's exactly. This is about breaking the family unit because the strength is in.
I think he's right. Yeah, right here. He said, then begin to destroy the nuclear family. Right, and that's what you do, right?
That's been done all throughout history by tyrants. I mean, you had Hitler's youth. You had the Red Army that had their little brigade of youth.
Yeah, which nobody really talks about. It's always a Hitler Youth. I mean, if nobody knows, Stalin was even more of a eradicator of human life than Hitler was. But go on, Matt. I apologize.
Over a much longer period of time, too. But
right.
He was just killing people within his own country, we didn't have access to information in real time like we do now. So it was a closed off society, and
Right.
Well, I mean, the 6th Army surrendered in Stalingrad with like 190,000 German soldiers, and only like 6,000 ever returned to Germany because the rest of them Stalin freaking snuffed out. So,
you intellectual, you.
Well, there's some numbers I remember that they don't make me money, but I do remember them.
Now I really hate you.
Now
I really, an educated man. Now I really hate him.
I love Tombstone was the best, wasn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, it's right away. I saw Mathew had on the Say When shirt. We loved it right away. Yeah, I love it, man.
So Dougie put one up here, and he's right. He said when I was in high school, they wouldn't even cover the Vietnam War, and when they did, it was very slanted. It was all negative. I mean, and we're not going to go down that path of what the war was, but the way they treated our soldiers when they come back was horrible. They were forced to go. I mean, we had to draft.
Yeah. Well, remember Clay when we started this 1270, we had my Uncle Dino on, and he verified it. He came back and they spit at him and threw shit at him, and
my dad was a Vietnam War veteran and tells me the same stories.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, right?
I had uncles that served in Vietnam. Same thing. They said they got back here, and ironically, they both become liberals, which I don't understand. That doesn't even make sense. Wow.
Yeah, my uncle's not.
No, your uncle's not. Hey, my dad is, and I love him. I love my dad, but he's a liberal, and that just always blew my mind because I'm not, and I didn't grow up that way. But I had a World War II grandfather.
Brian Warner says, somebody said in quotations he's got here, the only thing we've learned from history is that we've learned nothing from history. I mean, that's a great quote right there, Brian. I'm just going ahead and attribute that to you, my fellow MVE. That's a Brian Warner quote right there.
Eric. Oh, I'm laughing. Eric says, isn't Tombstone a pizza? Oh my God. You gotta remember my buddy Eric there. He doesn't watch shows or movies. He hunts and fishes, and that's fine. He shoots, hunts, fishes, whatever.
Eric, the movie's better than the pizza right there. So
there it is. That one is, yes. Go rent it. Go rent it.
You don't even have to. I think you can watch it on YouTube now on a pirated thing. So
we started watching Lonesome Dove in the Ice Shack, and he got bored. He said it was a boring show. And I was like, So anyway, we're getting off track here, Matt. See
well, Clay, yeah. Tell you what, 8:45. Should we hit our big ad here and come back and
the big ad. All right.
We didn't get past the first one there in the platform, did we?
What's that?
No.
On the Republican platform.
No, we didn't. We got 9 more to go.
All right, come back. Let's.
All right, we'll go take a quick break.
Josie, I'm your huckleberry.
Go out and get yourself a cold one. Use the facilities, and we'll be right back.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro-Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro-Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro-Second Amendment, pro-North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul's, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
All right, we're back, comrades.
Oh,
I got everything down.
looks like we got us a Bolshevik on the show now.
That's a vodka. Anyway,
No, I seen their AK. That looks like one of those American models, all black with the synthetic stock, not that nice Russian wood.
right there. I have them all.
I got 2 AKs.
One for each of you.
One for each of you, yes.
So Lynette says she does home health care and is taking care of several veterans in that area, and they're all Democrats.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That is to me.
That era, I don't know. Well, I don't know if you remember this, Mathew, but and we're getting way off. But do you remember the president of the? I think it's the National Organization of Women, and then of course you had the teachers, whatever thing back in the '60s, and they said we can't change you. I'm just summing it up, summarizing. We can't change you the next generation, but we will own your grandkids and your great grandkids. They did it, didn't they?
Yep. Again, the slow march through the institutions. This wasn't by happenstance.
No, this was a plan.
This was planned.
Absolutely.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. Most of my daughter's friends are Trump supporters. They don't care.
Well, I think we're seeing a shift. I'm telling you.
Trump actually did it. I mean, it wasn't.
Whether you hate or love Trump, it doesn't matter.
Like George Bush.
He has definitely swung that pendulum, hasn't he? I mean,
yeah.
I know that there's a lot more. And you got guys like Charlie Kirk out there doing all that footwork with Turning Point. I think.
Now he's like putting a knife in his back, though. It's pissing me off.
Gen Z is far more conservative than the last several generations have been. They're more interested in pushing back against some of the craziness that we've seen the last decade or two.
Yep.
They're more interested in rejoining the church and having families again, and
absolutely
things that build and maintain societies. I think it's great to see, and that needs to be nurtured, fostered, and pushed.
Absolutely.
And a big thing too, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I see it with younger people. All these gun tubers, man, they watch that kind of stuff and they get into guns and they like that. And, Matt, I've turned more people into Republicans by getting them shooting guns. And I'm not saying like these huge leftists I took, but like people were kind of like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, hey, you want to go shooting? Yeah, sure. A year later, they're hardcore freaking Republicans. They love guns and these freaking commies here. And I'm like, yeah, now you got it, didn't you? Just to see that, get a little trigger time, somebody. Yeah. What was the Red Dawn quote where the dead Russian hat will fit on Power's booth, the F-15 pilot? Oh yeah, remember all that hate's gonna burn you up, kid, and he
That's right.
throws his coffee in the fire and oof, keeps me warm. Although
That's right.
I don't know if you throw coffee in the fire if it flames up. I kind of always thought that one like, what? How's that work, man?
Had some Baileys in that coffee.
yeah.
So,
Little shot of Everclear.
You
Yeah,
know,
let's keep.
you made a great statement there, Mathew, about we need to nurture that. So, and you've got, I know you have a ton of fires that you're addressing right now, right, within the party.
Yep.
So you're a busy guy, but once you get past that, I mean, you got 2 years. Let's say that's a 2-year term, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep, that's correct.
And I'm not even going to ask if you're going to run again because you'll cross that bridge when you get there. But there's a lot of work to do in 2 years. And in my opinion, there's a lot of things to address just within the party itself. And, you know, unlike Pork Chop over there in Fargo, Rob, we're not in disarray. We're not fractured. But
He is.
things-
We're not. I mean,
Yeah.
the real Republicans are. He
Right.
is. He's in disarray.
There's some things to address, though, and they very much are. And I think you're the guy to do it. But once you get past that, what would be some of the goals that you want to see and where you want to see the North Dakota GOP go?
Yeah, I want to see people get re-engaged as citizens. We've fallen for this false idea that engagement means that we reach into people's mailboxes every couple of years, send them a whole bunch of stuff and say, please show up and vote. And then we completely forget that they exist. That needs to change. And it needs to change, for our state, but it needs to change for our entire country. You have a civic duty. Your civic duty is not relegated to just voting occasionally. So I want to see the party really push driving engagement. I want to see people get involved in their districts first, because that's the closest form of government. And then I'd like to see them get involved in the state too. I mean, there's a lot that we can do if we have a strong membership. And, I would love to grow those numbers. I hear a lot the big tent thing, and it frustrates me because the concept is right. Like, we want to bring people into the fold, but we want to bring them into the fold of, here's what the belief of the party is, here's where our values are, and we're going to show you why we think these are the correct way to run a society. And you have to do that by action. So, yeah, there's lots and lots of different things that I'd like to hit on, but the first one is, just getting people engaged and then letting them drive. A couple of activists will do far more than anybody sitting in my position with a title behind their name is capable of doing. So that's what we need to inspire.
Well, absolutely. And I think they have failed at that. Perry Schaefer failed at that miserably, but I think he did it on purpose. Trust me, he's in my district. He was the chairman of our district. Perry Schaefer flat out don't want your opinion. He wants your money, but he don't want your opinion. He don't care. They had their own pathway, and they really didn't care about what anybody else thought. That was
I'd like both.
So,
What's
Matt,
that?
expanding on what you're saying on outreach and that, I think, and I'm not trying to take a shot at anybody at the GOP HQ, but their social media posts and that's weak, man.
Their website.
They should be doing some good videos on there. I mean, they shared a few things now and then, which I got you, and some pictures, and I'm by no means a social media wizard, but I was looking at some of that and I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure I could suck in a lot more people on our side doing something I could do than this. Right. I mean, I think that needs, and I mean, that's one of the big reasons President Trump won, right? The social media. I mean, that's a huge thing now. I mean, that's actually overtaken a lot of the regular
the ground
crusty
game.
freaking leftist media. Yeah, in the ground game. Everybody can get on their phone and look at shit every day, which they do. I mean, I hate to admit it, but I'm damn near as addicted as everybody else to these stupid things. If not more, probably, because I do a lot of social media videos and whatnot. But I mean, do you got a plan together yet for some social media things, or?
Yeah,
I mean, he's still okay.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. We've got a guy on board now who has got just a ton of ideas on social media, and he's from the bend is exactly what you're saying right now, that the way we've been doing things has gotten stale.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
100%.
This communications guy, he's got some wizardry. Like, he is really effective at communicating. And, I'm very excited for some of the ideas that he's putting forward. And, I'm going to help push those.
So
Awesome, man.
and I brought up your page here, or no, not yours, but the NDGOP. Okay, so it has changed since I've seen it last time. But when you really look, at least you can find the platform and the rules easily. But when you look at this thing, is that inspiring to really check anything out?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that pulls you in on that. I mean, hey, remember the old Eddie Murphy comedy? You need an eye catcher.
You know, to me,
You need a hook.
you look at what Julie Fedorchak. She just gave a speech on the House floor, essentially doing exactly what I wanted her to do, and that's to talk about what the suppressor stuff is in the big beautiful bill. There's nothing of that on the home page. It's like, okay, we have the platform, we have this.
Yeah, I mean, she did it, but the state party didn't do it.
But I'm guessing that Mathew, I'm guessing you'd like to see something change big there.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, some of those current events, there's a section on that top ribbon called news, and a lot of it's going there. But point well taken that getting some of that onto the front screen to grab attention. That's
right. And I mean, ours isn't perfect. We're revamping ours too. We got a gal that's going to do it because you know what? I'm not.
Yeah,
that
tell her to
guy.
shift gears here, man.
Yeah, I mean, get in the high gear, But anyway, we need to make a change in ours as well, and we know it. And we're getting more traffic there. Well, I think the NDGOP page needs some. I imagine what they did was they were going for simplicity, but when you want to attract Gen Z, they don't want simplicity. They want the latest, greatest, newest news, right? I mean, I look at this front page and it says get involved. Okay, yeah, you can get involved. Why isn't there a thing right there that says join now? That's what I don't understand.
Well, something like that. I mean, even better than that. I mean,
well, that's a general statement. You know what I'm
yeah, I got you, Clay. I got you. But
so on that comment, Clay, I got it up on my other screen here. So if you're looking at the top ribbon where it says get involved, if you go over to the far right, there should be a great big red button with white lettering that says join now.
Okay. And I do see it now, but if I missed it, how many other people missed that?
Yeah, fair point.
And I did. I missed that. I just seen it now too. I think that should be front and center. Right now they got building on success. Donate to our building fund. That's great, but I think membership is everything. Grassroots is everything, in my opinion.
Yes, the organization is run by donations. It is plain and simple. So yeah, we want people involved. If you aren't engaging people, you're dying.
Absolutely.
So Matt, Travis has a good comment up here, and I'm going to grind somebody's gears on this, I can guarantee you. But he says he liked Julie supporting landowners being able to buy back easement property from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I mean, that's kind of the thing Mike Lee's doing, right? In the big, beautiful bill. Mike, I'm going to tell you right now, Mike Lee is getting his ass absolutely freaking handed to his freaking shit on social media, on every freaking outdoor blog, every gun blog. Ted Nugent, Hunter Nation. If they do that, if they actually do that and sell this land, I know Clay wants it sold too, and our Scott Bachmeyer, they're good. I mean, that's going to be a massive black eye in the Republican Party, because he is getting. I've watched it right before we came on, guys. I was watching a couple different super popular, millions of subscribers on these out. And virtually every comment on Mike Lee's thing, that guy is getting crushed on selling public land. I'm not saying that's the same thing in these easements. Clay, you would know more than that as a landlord than I do.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's got to come out of there, because that's going to freaking piss people off.
The easements need to stay in there, and we need to sell them back to the landowners, which they were confiscated from. Let's get it right.
So tell everybody what an easement is, Clay, as a landowner.
Easement's something that either the landowner lost through, who knows, some of this goes back to the 30s, to say access to a certain piece of property along a river. Most of them come off of watersheds. Just like I've got these government allotments that piss me off, but they go with my land. They're tied with my land, and they won't sell them to me. So that I'm very restricted on those 2 quarters, because I got to listen to the federal government, which I just love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bootlicker, man.
I mean, they try to tell me how.
Puts mine in perspective now, and I'm out mowing the ditch. I get angry because I have to maintain it and I don't own it. But
yeah.
Your problem sounds a little bit bigger than that.
A little bit, yeah. They want to tell me when to graze, what to do, and I tell them to go pound sand. I basically I ignore everything, and I kind of tell them exactly this.
That they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I mean, it's that simple.
Well played, Clayton. Well played. I
thought
love
that was
it.
a great lead, but
Matt's going, oh, shit, really?
and this is no reflection on the new GOP chairman, just so everybody knows that.
Exactly what I was just going to say.
Better hope my mother's not watching.
But I can tell you that
I don't know about that Clay guy, Matt.
my two quarters there look better than the stuff that everybody else is managing because I don't overgraze it. I don't do a lot of things. I make sure that I am taking care of those just like I do the rest of my 3,200 acres. But the government, they got all these guys with these great college degrees and they're so smart and they actually want me to graze more with more head and I won't do it because the land can't take it. And that's why it really torques me off when you can't buy that from them. Now, I don't know how to address it. I think the best compromise, and to me a compromise everybody loses, but it's probably better, is to let the states, or even better yet, the counties take control of them lands. I don't want the feds in charge at all. They don't know what they're doing. They really don't. They get orders from Washington, D.C. out here, and they know nothing. Their lands are usually the worst managed lands on the face of the earth. Go look at them.
You know the national parks, which president ushered those in, right?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Bully!
Yeah.
And
Brought
why I'm not a fan.
progressivism under the guise of republicanism to stateside. That's
and
a thing in North Dakota.
Yes, and he used the Antiquities Act and abused it to do that. Yes, I'm not a fan of Teddy. I know the state loves him. I'm not one of them guys. Maybe it's because I'm that darn South Dakota cowboy, right, Jamie?
Yep. I mean, hey, I love Teddy for being a pro-gun and a suppressor pimp, but
That
he
he was.
did some things I didn't really care for. But
yeah, I think his persona made him really attractive. Like he was an American man, and sportsman, and he lived, at the edge of.
He got shot on the campaign trail, and he kept going with his speech too. Remember?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, you got to respect that shit.
That's for sure.
I know another guy that tried, but they wouldn't let him speak.
I know another guy who got shot, and he stood back up and put his hand in the air, and turned out he beat the living hell out of the Democrat commie. So
yeah, but. No, you're right. Teddy Roosevelt brought the national park system into. Didn't they? Did they call him? Didn't he call them monuments at first?
Yeah, it sounds right, but I'm not positive.
Because I think that went with the Antiquities Act, and it's just like these national grasslands or these allotments, like what I got that are under U.S. Fish and Wild or U.S. Forest Service. They all, if you ever notice, they're named the Grand River grasslands or the Little Missouri grasslands or the Cedar River because they all came off of the watersheds. And that was a whole nother thing that we're not going to go into tonight because we could spend another hour and a half or better talking about how they took the watersheds and essentially declared it flood problems. And then in the 30s, people were going broke and the people sold the land. But they all originated off of floodplains and watersheds. And that's how the tribes, and we want to go down another rat hole. That's how the tribes wanted to try and lay claim to all the land along the rivers, including Shade Hill, South Dakota down here south of me, which is nowhere near the reservation, but they were going to use that same tactic based on that precedent. So, yeah. I got a real problem with federal lands.
All right, let me hit a few comments here, and then we're going to go to the next item. What are we going to be on, number 3 or 4 here on our
probably number 1 or number 2.
Lynette says she would love more North Dakota access on what's happening. Local news is worthless. Josie Milbrand, straight savage Trump, exclamation point. I agree with you, Josie. I love it. Travis says we're better stewards of the land and wildlife than the government people. Most of us have a vested interest in some sort. 100% true right there. I've never met a farmer or rancher who's like, you know what, screw the wildlife, screw Mother Nature. I'm going to do this and that. As long as I'm making a bunch of money, I don't give a shit. I've never, ever met any, like I said, farm rancher who does anything like that, or any landowner, period, for that matter. But Josie says, not a huge Teddy fan, but the Man in the Arena is pure gold. I believe that's a Netflix movie. Never saw that myself. But what is that about Teddy Roosevelt, Matt? Yeah,
It's a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave, and it is phenomenal.
Okay.
It is. It's a good
Awesome.
speech.
Okay. Well, maybe I did see it. Actually, I just didn't know it was
Teddy
called
had his
Mathew.
accolades. There's no doubt about it. But that particular thing, and it was, let's face it, it was
I'm laughing at Eric's
historically
comment.
changing, right?
Yeah.
And it's a big problem we're still dealing with today.
Eric says that's pretty much all I hunt is taxpayers' land. Yeah, Eric, and I'm telling you, all these outdoor things and these hunting things, and I mean that's their thing, man. And I've said it before, and I'm not going to go on a big, but if we sell this, that's all that's going to do is piss off people on our side, and they're going to be like, you know what, screw these guys. They freaking put it up our rear ends on this deal. We got nowhere to hunt no more now. I mean, I think we're cutting our own throats if we start selling off public land. And I mean, if you F them turkeys, Corey says. I mean, I'm willing to have a conversation about it. If you guys don't, I'm willing to move on to the next subject here.
Well, you know where I lie on this.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the best place for these federal lands right now. Because
I'm with you on that, Clay. No,
they
you're
should be
100%.
returned.
It should be to the state. The state should run them. I'm not disputing.
But not with the Game and Fish in charge of them. It cannot be a governmental entity. It just can't.
I'm down with that, but I mean, selling them back, and if all land was private anymore, that was public. I mean, there's going to be so many. I mean, look at the Badlands during hunting season, man. You're going to piss off pretty much every person there. They're going to be like, you know what, Republicans put it in our rear ends here.
But is it mine or yours or anybody's responsibility to provide tax-funded, tax-owned trust land, because that's what it's classified as, for people to hunt for their private hunting enjoyment? It's not, plain and simple.
It's not. You're right there, but I mean, if we want to go down that road, are we going to just sell off Nevada and Alaska? No, we got to give Alaska back, sell it back to the Russians.
No,
that whole place is pretty much public
because we bought that with our money.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We bought all this other shit too. So
we bought the Louisiana Purchase. We bought a lot of things. But it wasn't meant to stay. I mean, what's that, man?
Another Thomas Jefferson deal.
Yes, another Thomas Jefferson deal. Absolutely.
So we got into turkeys here in the comments. Like I said, Corey said, F them turkeys. Eric says, we have the anti-wildlife farmers, ranchers down here, Jamie. They want them all dead. Really? Okay, wow. Okay, I've never seen any do that.
Well, I can tell you this. It depends on the farmer or rancher that you're talking about.
I mean, I know a bitch about deer when they...
I'm a small operation. I take care of my land. In fact, me and you have had a lot of conversation what I'm doing here to try and encourage my wildlife.
Small's a relative term.
Because I like to hunt, right?
Yeah.
But I also want it to be productive and produce a profit. But I want it to also last for generations. I got 2 sons coming. Now I look at some of these guys around me who are farming 30,000 acres and running all over the country. They don't give 2 shits about the wildlife or what they're doing to the land. They continuous farm. They throw chemicals down that they shouldn't when they should be doing other things, but they're lazy. We used to cultivate corn. Now we get Roundup ready and we spray it down with the chemicals. Spray, kill, plant, spray. It's not a good cycle. And they no-till everything. There's a place for no-till, but not every year. And I did a bunch of things on my own land because I had it rented out. My compaction rate is horrible. I got no earthworms left in it. They're the ones that aerate the soil. My birds were dying. I cut back a bunch of this stuff. Guess what I got again? Birds. This isn't rocket science. This is just normal everyday logic that the 30,000 plus acre people don't give a crap about.
Yep. All right, I'm going to get to... All right, I promise you I'm going to read these, and then we're going to move on. Matt's probably like, God
Matt's like, what the hell are they doing here?
Yeah. I thought you guys said you were going to torpedo me. Yeah. I'm kidding, man. Matt wouldn't care if we asked him a tough question. Let's see here. Travis said, public land is great, but North Dakota Game and Fish and these sportsman organizations spend more money lobbying against private property owners rather than investing in the outdoors and wildlife.
That's true.
They do spend a good amount on it because they're up there lobbying all the time. And usually when they do, it's really not to, in my opinion, our benefit. But Brian says, big problem is it would go to the highest bidder, not the best ones. And that Gene kind of followed up here. Wait till Ted Turner and Bill Gates buy everything up. Yeah.
So that's true. But I got one question. Why do we have to auction it off to the public? Why not return it? Not just sell it back, return it to where that land came from. Like our place. I can trace this back. These 2 allotments were originally in Jake Heinen's name. Let's return it back to the actual
get it
people
then, and then whoever they took it from, and then
at a fair market value. I'm not looking for free land, cheap land, or anything else. But that was the intention
your dog's getting
of that. I don't know if anybody knows this, but all them grasslands, the intent was to return it to the landowners that they bought it from during the Depression era and the drought eras. Plain and simple. It was a bailout, and then they never sold it. That's how the grasslands were created.
So Justin, I apologize if I don't get your last name right here. Justin Lidinsky says selling public land might open it up to out-of-state buyers that have different values. Keep North Dakota. We have enough outside influence. Yeah, well, it's like Clay saying, put it back to where the state runs the land instead of the feds. I would love that. And actually, like Clay, down to the county, man. I would love that. And elected people. The county commission don't appoint them. You elected, like, whatever. I mean, the public land commission, or whatever you want to call it, right? They got to get elected.
And let's face it, right now, everyone's worried about the Ted Turners and the Bill Gates. Do you guys realize that they don't own as much as you think they do? And I would actually, and I'm not going to name names here, but there's a bigger landowner in North Dakota than Ted Turner and Bill Gates, and he owns tens of thousands of acres in this state. Trust me, he's not any better than them, but that seems to be okay with everybody.
Yeah, when I lived in Montana, it was really difficult in some spots to get around all of the land that Ted Turner owned, and he kept that lockdown tight.
Montana, he owns a lot, but in North Dakota, he does not. Bill Gates has some. Ted Turner has quite a bit in South Dakota, and down there by Fort Pierce, especially big.
I mean, he's alive yet?
No, I think he died, didn't he? I don't even know. But
I'm like, Jane Fonda probably freaking polluted his mind.
Yeah.
Hanoi Jane.
What's that, Matt?
Hanoi Jane.
Yeah, Hanoi Joe. That's a whole nother. Well, we could go down all kinds of rabbit holes tonight.
Josie says Game and Fish director should be elected. I agree with that 100%.
Well, there was a bill for that this year. If I remember right, a bill was in the legislature, and I think it went down in flames, unfortunately.
All right, what's number 3?
So that has nothing to do with the North Dakota GOP, though, does it, Mathew?
What do we got number 3 on the list? We're gonna run out of 2. We're 120.
Limited government. Federal, state, local governments should be transparent and limited to their respective roles, in accordance with the 10th Amendment. I couldn't agree more. The size of government regulations, and entitlement and transfer programs should be limited to the essential, inherently governmental functions. Awesome. That's perfect, right, Matt?
Yep. And the last part of that is my favorite part of the entire thing.
Yes.
And that's a place that I think more debate needs to happen. What is an essential, inherently governmental function?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people believe anything that takes money out of my neighbor's pocket and puts it in my pocket, that's an inherently government function. That's simply not the case.
Wealth redistribution is something people really believe is a government function anymore, don't they?
Yes, and the problem is that the broader that we've allowed that to become, the harder it is to not be a part of it as an average citizen. So then, when you want to pull back some of these non-inherently governmental functions, you get a lot of pushback because somebody's benefiting from every single one of those. That's why it's so difficult to cut government. Yep. The problem starts with the people. And I think the people would be well advised to look back and say, one of the commandments is thou shalt not steal.
There
That's
you go.
exactly what you're doing. I mean, just because somebody else is picking your neighbor's pocket on your behalf does not make you any less complicit in the theft if you're receiving it.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that came, we all know, social programs that shouldn't exist. Roosevelt created social, well, actually, he didn't create it. He created the concept. Social Security.
That was created Remember, was it Davy Crockett? Somebody wanted to, or not Davy Crockett, one of them after the Civil War, they wanted to give one of the dead Civil War soldiers' wives, some government money. And they're like, you start doing this, we're going to end up doling out to everybody. And I'm sure as shit, that's what happened.
Well, and I think too, when you look at the way and Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but you look at the way our taxes are collected, say income tax, you got over 50% of the people don't pay any now, right? I think it's something like that. Well, of course they're okay with taking our money, right? And when you create a society where over 50% of the people have no skin in the game and aren't paying in, of course they're going to vote for that. They're going to vote for more pro. Look what's happening in New York right now. I mean, they've got a big problem with what's going to happen with their mayor election. I mean,
so Clay, let me get you a little X post here from old Zorhan Kwame Mamdani.
Sounds like an
simple tweet he had here back when it was Twitter. We need to ban all guns.
Yeah, anti-gun. He's a true socialist communist.
And he's up there talking Constitution and rights, and the son of a bitch said he wants to ban all guns. That's all Democrats. You guys talk about rights. Oh, rights. Well, so we need to ban all guns. What about the second? Oh, that old piece of asswipe. We don't need that around anymore. But what about the rest of them, right? So you can pee in a cup and tell everybody that's art. I mean, come on. These people are such hypocrites. I mean, New York sucks anyways, but that guy is like he makes Eric Adams look like a freaking conservative. Well, if you don't know Eric Adams, he's the current governor of New York, or the mayor of New York City.
I was looking up a quote when you guys were talking about the ability to vote yourself an income stream, and Alexander Tytler said a democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. It can only exist until the voters discover that they can vote themselves largesse from the public treasury. And it goes on for several more fantastic statements after that. But that's an absolutely brilliant point. And that's why people on our side of the aisle rightly state that we are a constitutional republic, because democracies inevitably commit suicide. And that's one of the ways that they do is through welfare and transfer programs. I find out that all I have to do is vote and get enough of my friends to vote with me, and we can rob everybody else and benefit from that. Well, eventually you have the looters, being more, there's more of them than there are the producers, and your society collapses.
Well, yeah, we're seeing that in California and New York right now. So when you look at the last census, where was the biggest influx of people leaving? Well, it was in those states like California and New York, where they keep taking. And where do they flee to? It's not necessarily good. They flee to Florida and Texas. Out here, I don't know about you guys.
It's been good for Florida, but I don't know. Texas, it doesn't look like it's working out that good.
I've seen here more Pennsylvania, Oregon, Washington plates than I've ever seen in my life.
I love when you say Oregon, Clay, because that's how I say it too, and it tweaks the hell out of people.
But it pisses me off because those people don't think like us. They don't vote like us. It just finally got bad enough they left. Well, it's been bad for decades, and now they left. That's not a good thing. They're not going to be.
Colorado used to be solid red, man, and now that's just.
I grew up in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, look at Montana. I mean, you get over there in that Kalispell area.
Yeah, but hey, Montana's. They're doing good over there because
finally
they got GM and they took over big majorities in the House and Senate. But yeah, I got you on the college towns there.
But for a long time, they were shifting purple. They really were.
So I was talking about the guy in New York, Mamdani or whatever. He wants to make all the stores government-owned stores,
city-owned grocery stores.
I mean, that'll never end up in rationing, right? Like you get this, you get that. That's never going to happen, right? I mean, come on.
To each what he can afford.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Go ahead and read that, Clay. I'm sorry.
Josie said, I like what Josie. People would take more interest in local government if they had to send an actual check for their property taxes. Escrow has made people complacent. And that's just one of many. Not just that, Josie. So most people don't understand that they really don't pay income tax. If you don't hit a certain threshold in this country, yes, you're paying your income tax and your little weekly checks. You're paying your FICA, which is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. But you're getting your income tax back. If you're getting a refund, you didn't pay no income tax, okay? Not really. Guys like me and several people I'm sure that are listening tonight, I get to write a check. First of all, I'm self-employed. And in between investments and other things, I write a big damn check in income tax alone. And you're right. If people had to pay that and write that check, but we changed all that when it started coming out of your wages weekly. People don't notice them dollars versus thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. If people had to pay that in and write a check at the end of the year, they'd be pissed off. Not just that. Then I look at my property taxes. Yeah, that went well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the ranchers and farmers always get screwed on the property tax deal, no doubt about it.
Well, my assessments went horribly high after they decided to pass what they called their property tax bill this year. Then our county went out and released our assessments, and then of course they tripled, quadrupled, or more.
Commissioner Peterson there in Sioux County.
Yeah, it's going to happen probably. Yeah. But what's your take on that, Matthew? I mean, we obviously don't have limited government, right?
No. The government has grown so exponential that we can't recognize the country that we were founded on, and just some of what's been taken on by the government was never intended to be an inherently governmental function. And now we believe that this is the way that it's always been. I mean, even something like public education, that wasn't around at the founding of this country. I mean, that came in at the turn of the 1900s.
Yes.
And, we could go for a long time discussing why that was implemented, but suffice it to say, it wasn't because we wanted a more educated populace. We wanted to train workers.
Right. Yeah, it was a work program, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, people
Well,
don't
that's
understand
what the
that either.
ATF was after they got rid of the revenuers there. They got rid of what was the 18th Amendment that banned booze?
Yep.
Yeah, and they didn't have a job for them, so they turned them into the ATF to harass freaking gun owners. So you got to give these guys a job, man. Justin, he says, I hunted in Montana a lot and have several friends who grew up in it and live there. Locals call Bozeman Bos Angeles. Yeah,
Yep.
Justin, when I was in my early 20s, before I was into politics, and I skied all the time, I used to ski in Bozeman all the time, and I never understood why some of the guys would bitch about people from California, but I quickly learned after a few years of why they did not like Californians. So,
well, and Gene Cox, he points out there's a large part of refundable credit getting more back than they paid in. Yeah, earned income credit. Can you believe that? I'm sure you're aware of what that is, aren't you, Matthew?
Yeah, I've prepared taxes for decades.
Yeah, so I earned income credit pisses me off so bad because really the only way you qualify for it is if you didn't pay anything in, and then you get the earned income credit, which is just taking my money and giving it to somebody that qualifies for it.
You get more of what you incentivize, and you're incentivizing people not to go out and become more productive because they're going to be financially hurt if they are. And then we wonder why people can't get off of some of these programs, and these programs keep expanding. Well, you're punishing people for taking proactive self-growth moves in life.
Absolutely. Well, it's
So
just like our property, Matthew. If we improve our property, then they come out and assess it. Oh, now it's worth more so that we can tax it more. Again, why I supported Measure
Always.
4, because I don't believe that I should be taxed on my property or my value of my property, because that's a really kind of it's an insignificant number, the value of my property, because it's not for sale.
Yes. Yep. What you have on paper does not equate to what you have in cash flow.
Right. And when you evaluate someone's property and assess it at that and tax them at that, that's an unrealized capital gain that they're taxing. And that's exactly what socialism is. They want to tax your unrealized gain. They've talked about it many times. Anyway, let's get
So
to that comment.
Elizabeth B. Powell says, will Whiskey Tango Foxtrot be making a giant NDGOP comeback anytime soon? We the people of D8 love that guy. We the people of D35 love that guy too.
Hey, us and D31 love him too. You're a man of the people.
Maybe.
Oh, yes, I love it.
I always thought it was a little Clint Eastwoodish, man. I like it. So.
It borrowed heavily from two of my greatest influences as a kid, Clint Eastwood and the nature boy Ric Flair.
Oh my God, Ric Flair! Oh my God,
You would make a good wrestler, actually.
Wanted to be one when I was a kid. It turns out you have to be like really fit and stuff and athletic.
Well, you got the size. I mean, if I wanted to be I'd have been more like who's the little guy with the microphone?
With the microphone.
Yeah, he was like the manager. Remember, he was screaming.
With the megaphone, Jimmy Hart?
Yeah. He beat
the South.
Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, the mouse of the South. I'm the mouse of the North. I could do that.
Hey, what the
I'll
heck
manage
with
you, Matt.
I just went over to Rumble. Did they pull your stuff down all of a sudden?
I don't know. I looked a few weeks ago. It was there, but
okay.
I have not contributed to it in quite some time.
You're right.
So, all right, I'm gonna get to a few of these other comments here. G says Missoula is East California. Yeah, I've never been skiing in Missoula, but I have heard friends of mine who did there, and they're like, "Yeah, you would not like it there, dude." So, what do we got here?
I remember everybody. So remember Matt when you were doing that? And I was trying to figure out Rumble, and I kept asking him, "So how do you do this? How do you get on there?"
Yep.
And finally figured it out. So yeah.
In its infancy, it was very complicated to upload videos, but they.
Oh yeah, I mean, even now compared to YouTube or something, but it is definitely. I mean, it's fairly simple now on Rumble.
They've come a long ways. I first made my personal account, and then of course I ended up making one 4 guns in the 701. So we have 2 over there that I maintain, which is great. I wish everybody just move over
I would
to the
say
other
this
one.
real quick about Rumble too. When Axe and I are going to shoot prairie dogs again Friday. Matt, you should make that like push that for like a state sport, prairie dog harvesting.
They're always looking for fundraisers.
Yeah, everyone's like, you guys, how come there's no videos? Well, because the last time we put it up on YouTube, they sniped us and said that's cruelty to animals. Facebook blocks it out. So what I'm going to do, I am going to do a video. I'll edit it and I'll put it on Rumble because Rumble's awesome. Rumble's still pro First Amendment. What about X? X, you can't put long videos like that on X. So I will put the link on X. I'll put the link on Facebook, and hopefully we get this straightened out with our website. We can maybe do that on their YouTube. Now we're just gonna have to keep going with the gun videos and the blind guy sending us videos of feeding his cattle with downed trees. So. All right, let me get a few more of these comments. Dave says the property taxes are arbitrary. There's no basis of valuation, but they can choose what you pay. And if you're maybe affiliated to a political party, your taxes increase a bit more. Nationwide.
Their formulas are horrible. Yeah.
Doug says, I don't think they even come out and assess it anymore. Yeah, they probably fly a drone over. Yeah, jack that shit up. Man.
Sioux County came out here last fall and assessed everything.
Yeah. What was really frustrating was at the same time that Measure 4 was being pushed and gathering signatures to try and abolish property tax state was when Kamala Harris was also running for president, and she was talking about taxing unearned gains, and everybody on the Republican side rightfully was saying, absolutely not. That's communism.
It is.
And we talk about property taxes here and not have the exact same conversation. It's an unearned gain tax.
Absolutely, it is.
If I'm not selling it, I don't recognize any gain because an assessor claims that it's more valuable than it used to be.
Right, and that's just it. I mean, my place here, I mean, okay, granted, this house was assessed probably who knows how long ago. I mean, I saw a $40,000 increase in my assessed value of just the house on this place. Are you freaking kidding me?
You're just making too much money.
But see, they capped them at 3%. I knew this was going to happen. I'm making too much money. They capped them at 3%. So now the way that they can increase it is they got to increase their valuation. Therefore, they get more money. And that's what people don't understand on this.
Yes, you get more of what you incentivize. It's the exact same thing. When you say there's a cap of 3%, you're guaranteeing 3% inflation.
Absolutely.
So I had to sniff back here on this comment. I wanted to read it from Doug. California would lose 5 congressional votes if we didn't count all the illegals in the census. And that's part of it. It ain't just making them legal voters, which if we lose the election again and the Democrats get the House, the Senate, and President, they'll make them all citizens and we're screwed. But that's one of the big things they can do right now. How the hell they ever figured that in to count illegals as citizens in the census and give them congressional districts blows my freaking mind.
Well, that comes back to the 3/5 compromise when we were, reconstructing after slavery. Is there was a fear that the southern states, when they would reintegrate, wouldn't count freed slaves as people, and so that was passed.
Okay.
that
Yep.
every, forget off the top of my head, they don't use the word citizen, but basically
No.
every person within the confines of the legislative district counts in the census towards your apportionment of representation.
Right. Yeah.
So, how do you put that, how do you put that genie back in the bottle?
I mean, if
Pretty tough,
honestly,
pretty
Matt,
tough.
if you tried it now, you and Clay and everybody, you're a freaking racist. That's exactly what they try. If you try to put it to, they're not citizens. You can't do it. Oh no, you can't because they're brown. I mean, reality is racist to the Democrats these days. I mean, that's why we can't have a conversation about a lot of stuff and
They
solve
hijacked
problems.
the term. Just like I said, terminology.
You can't talk reality to these people because they don't live in the world of reality. I'm gonna get. I mean, we're comment. You guys don't mind if I read some more comments, do you?
Go for it.
Because they're rolling in here. Reagan said those programs' success should be measured by the number of people getting off the programs. 100%. Ronald Reagan, man, when I was in school through the 80s, grade school, junior high, and high school, most of my friends and most people in school loved Ronald Reagan. Huge patriot. I know. What about the machine gun ban, JD?
1986. Yeah.
Yeah. Reagan wasn't there when they did it. It was. No, we're not going to get into that. Taxation is theft.
Hey, Jamie, I voted for Reagan, and if anyone's doing the math, it was Weekly Reader, and I was at kindergarten.
Yeah. Oh, we did. Hey, even now when they do votes in class, my daughters told me Trump freaking dominated that, and that's a domination of legacy and simile. So hey, take heart. I know it looks bleak sometimes, but a lot of our youth are on the right track here. Josie says the legislature constantly points back to the political subs about fixing property taxes. The legislature makes the frickin' rules. I said it loud because he's got it in all caps with an exclamation point. It's dereliction of duty.
So I'm going to interrupt you there. So
yep, go for it, Clayton.
Josie makes a great point. The legislature makes these rules on taxation, but yet
they blame each other. They're doing
well, we're going to skip to the lower taxes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the fifth part of the platform. Lower taxes in the platform, Mathew. Individuals, families, and government should be responsible in their spending. Taxpayers expect the government to be efficient and avoid waste with their money. I love that part.
Mm-hmm.
The state should only collect taxes to fund legitimate government functions, which is, as we've already discussed here, what are them? Government taxes and fees should be limited to essential, inherently governmental functions and not for the forced redistribution of wealth or disproportionate advantages for targeted interest groups. Matt, take the floor on that one.
Yeah, this thing is so well written because it touches upon a number of different non-inherent government functions, and the way that we've been doing government is improper. When you read that, was it 1, 2, third sentence, state should only collect taxes to fund legitimate government functions. Maybe we should put a parenthetical in there and say, unless it's for a rainy day fund that grows to nearly $10 billion.
Yeah, like the legacy fund.
Like the legacy fund. About, government taxes fees should be limited to essential inherently government functions and not for the forced redistribution of wealth, which is what we were just talking about.
Yep.
Or, here's my favorite, and I think there's a lot of disagreement in the Republican brand in this state, disproportionate advantages for targeted interest groups. Or to put it, more succinctly, cronyism. So yes. we have bought into the lie that being Republicans and being the party of business is on par with being the party of cronyism. When we say we're the party of business, we mean that we believe that entrepreneurial endeavors should be encouraged, that government should get out of their way because that's what builds a society. Now we've morphed that a lot to think that, let's do public-private partnerships, and that term makes me cringe every time because I come from the world of finance. If there's not a sufficient return on your investment in a private sector, that means it's a poor investment. But if I can go out and socialize my costs and privatize my profits, and when I say socialize my costs, I mean I'm going to put this on the back of the taxpayers to help fund something, and that's the only way that is profitable for me to do. But then I reap the benefits of any return that comes on that. That is antithetical to what we just read in that platform link. And that's antithetical to the way that this country was formed. I mean, cronyism is not capitalism. They're not even similar. Cronyism's more on par with, what the Chinese government has morphed into.
Yes. And I can just off the top of my head, and I know I'm going to piss some people off. Rural water projects, wind, solar. We don't even need to stop there. We have this happening everywhere, and like you said, it's a private company that benefits, but yet it's funded off of the backs of all of us that actually pay taxes. By the way, not all of you are funding it, because not all of you pay taxes. I mean, you might think you do, but you actually take more than you use. That's just a plain and simple fact. Anyway.
Brian says, for discussion's sake, how does term limits affect this particular point? I'll leave that to you two intellectuals.
Well, I'll let Matt go first on that.
Yeah, and rereading the language real quick here, because I want to see what you're aiming at here for how the two are connected.
Yeah, the term limit thing. So, I know an organization that I'm part of, they were against them because you're going to lose all that intellectual knowledge. I said, good, let it go. Bye-bye. I supported term limits. I didn't used to. I really didn't, but I did support them this time, and I will probably continue to support them because the culture we're in now leads back to what we've been talking about all night. People keep voting themselves other people's money, right? And that's never going to end if we don't have term limit. And it might not even end with them, but at least it gives us a chance, possibly.
I had really bright people that are close friends that were on both sides of that argument with term limits. And I thought both of them made compelling arguments. One of them that really kind of struck a chord with me is they said, okay, we have a mechanism in place with term limits where we force people out and bring new blood in. And I said, yeah, that's the point. And then they continued and said, how much pressure do you think the barrage of lobbyists puts on new legislators versus how much do they put on very seasoned ones? So on the one hand, you're cycling out some people that, let's just call a spade. They've sold out. That's a good thing. We don't want that kind of government. But then you are bringing in new people that are green, and that pressure is not going to go away. In fact, they may not understand the tactics as well. So I don't know what the right answer is on that, other than ideally term limits.
That was a good breakdown there. Actually, I never heard it like that, but you're right.
Yeah, term limits should be every election cycle.
They should be.
But that comes back to the people. The people have to be engaged. If we're being lazy and apathetic in our voting, then we get the government we deserve.
Absolutely. And that's why, the term limits has always been this, it's kind of the fourth rail, right? And I remember some comments back there. Josie was one of them that said that the easiest way to get involved is at your district level. And that falls on the people, right, Mathew? Get involved at your district, nominate them people or endorse those people in your endorsement meetings and take a stand. That's probably where that starts. Then you maybe won't get those people that get in there and they, even if they're new, and go, oh, I can take this for my campaign fund. Well, I'm not going to say who he is, but I know a guy that got elected. He did not go through the endorsement process. He had about 10 grand to spend and he spent it and he got elected. So if you can get elected with 10 grand in a small district, then why do you need to take the lobbyist money? I mean, are you that power hungry? I guess I'm not. I never have been. That's probably why I'm hard to get elected, because I don't take money from people. I don't do anything like that. And you know me, I say it how it is, right? Which rubs people wrong sometimes, and that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But isn't that the kind of people we want in there, Mathew? Those that speak their mind, represent the people, and won't take the money. But that ain't who we elect.
Yep. Well, and coming back to what we started the discussion on of getting involved in your districts, I know we say that a lot, but maybe it's important to just speak to the process of how you do that. I know when I was trying to get involved formally, I mean, it was a big black hole of, cloak and dagger and secrecy.
Yeah.
And a lot of us that have been involved now for several years and have been really trying to pull that back and encourage. But the website that you're on, the state party website, NDGOP.org, one of in the top banner there, if you pull down the thing that says about, it'll say in there, who the district chairs are. Over to your left, the state committee.
State committee, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I should look on my screen too. That's
There we
small
go.
to see. Okay, so here's the actual state committee.
They
but
still got Sandy listed.
Yes,
Wow.
it's actively being changed.
Okay.
That's on me. But if you scroll down a little bit further, it has every one of the district chairs
There they are.
and their contact information here, and that's where you start. You get a hold of who the chairs of the district.
Here's a good
And
one
it's-
right here. District 8, Josie Milburn.
It's my favorite chair.
And Doug Charbonneau. I know Doug from different things. So, yeah, I like Doug.
Yeah.
And Josie, Matt, I mean, a small amount of people can make big change, right? You just got to get active. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm
People
telling
don't
you,
realize that, especially in North Dakota.
a lot of these reorganization meetings where you elect officers and, depending on the time in the cycle, you could be endorsing candidates for, legislative office. A lot of these are attended by, a couple dozen of people. You can show
Well,
up.
I don't even know sometimes if it's that many.
Yeah, I've seen some that were very small. In
Yeah.
8 where Josie and I are, we've had several hundred.
I mean, you
people
guys are
show up.
pretty active up there, but yeah. I mean, a lot of time when I started getting into it, and I was like, really? This is what's running the show here? Is this many people?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very few. And, when we're looking at this, a lot of people may not know what district they're in. The North Dakota Legislative homepage, ndlegis.gov, that has a search bar where you can just type in your address and it'll tell you what district you're in. I would like to incorporate that same functionality onto this page here so people can come, put in their address, figure out what district they're in, and here's the contact information for the chair. Now you can get involved. There's no secrecy. We want people who are passionate about, minding their government and doing their civic duty. We want those people involved.
Right.
There's simply too few right now.
Well, I noticed one here, my district, District 31, Don Scheibel, who I have always had a problem with legislators being chairman. To me, it's counterproductive, and I saw way too many conflicts of interest the first time he was our chair. But I noticed he don't even have a phone number. He's got his email up there. So for those of you in District 31 that want his number, here it is, 701-209-0087. You know what? If you are an elected legislator, and you are a district chairman, you should not be a coward, and your number should be there. There it is, 701-209-0087. Now you have it. Yeah, that just pissed me off.
There's a couple of them
Release
don't have a
your
phone.
energy.
The vast majority do, but you're right. Not all of them are.
No, and yeah, I was just kind of scrolling through some of these. I do recognize quite a few of the names on here. Some are with us, some are not, of course. But yeah.
So Clay, I tell you what, we got to do one more commercial break. Matt, I'm guessing we're not going to get through all these. We got to have you back on.
Yeah, part 2, right?
We can go part 3 and 4 because Matt's going to be. We got 2 years, man. If not
Well,
more, we'll see.
I'll tell you what, before we go to break, I'm going to put this up here. Doug Wolf puts in, Matt, I know you're going to do a great job, and I'm not sure if this has anything to do with you, which I know it doesn't have anything to do with you. But there is a huge elephant in the room that needs to be addressed, and that's the Ray Holmberg issue. Great reason for term limits, and why do we need North Dakota people going overboard to negotiate? So go ahead and think about that a little bit. We're going to go to break. We'll do a little bit of a longer one here, just so we got a little time here to take a quick break to do other things.
Oh, we got a new sponsor back on board.
When we got our sponsor back on board. So, all right, we will be right back, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of talk about that. Okay, Matt?
You bet.
All right.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
state.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
All right, we are back. Again, our guest tonight is Mathew Simon, the newly elected North Dakota GOP chairman. Matt, we've went on a lot of different rabbit holes tonight, but sure appreciate you coming on. So I guess we'll go back to what Doug had talked about, Ray Holmberg, and what's your take on that, Matt? And to me, I'm betting that you and I both think alike on this.
Yeah, I think we need to make millstones great again. If you catch
there
my...
we go. Yes, I agree. I agree. I will say this about it. I do believe that was a huge black eye on the Republican Party. I do think that, when you look at the term limit thing, there's a good example of why they're good. But I don't know. To me, that it goes deeper than that. And to protect a guy like that, whether you're Republican, Democrat, whoever you are, that was just not a good thing. It was a bad thing and a huge black eye.
The question everybody ought to be asking is, do we really believe that he was able to get away with this in isolation?
Yeah, and
of course not. There has got to be a group that had insulated him, that was very well aware of this. It's a very big reason why I elected to step up to a higher position, is because, frankly, that's not going to happen on my watch.
Amen.
We can't sit back and allow this to happen and then claim to be the party of the American moral upbringing. The whole thing pisses me off, to be quite frank with you. And I think that a lot of people are either sleeping at the wheel or abetting.
I think there was a lot of enabling going on. Like you said, that this wasn't just one guy. He's the guy that got caught. and I think he was insulated from decades. and why, I don't know. Why would you protect somebody like that? I just, it infuriates me, especially because children are involved, Matt. That is the worst thing I think you could ever do. I really believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have jobs as men.
Yes, we do. And let's not forget, we have the family integrity and the American moral tradition is part of our platform. I mean, I'm not going to, if you want to read it, fine, but that alone should tell you enough. And that was completely a slap in the face to that party platform item, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yeah. So I hope that answered your question, Doug, because Matt, I do believe you 100%. You are a man's man. And I know this will not happen on your watch if you can at all help it.
Got an alpha running it now, baby.
Hell yeah. We're proud to have you in there, Matt.
Absolutely. We are. Absolutely. So Matt, you want a fun question instead of all this serious stuff?
Yeah, shoot.
I got two of them for you. Number one, what'd you draw for your deer tag?
I am having a tag soup again.
Are you? Oh shit.
I didn't even get the tag to put in the soup. This is 4 straight years where I'm being told there aren't enough deer for me to go. I'm dodging them on the road. I'm chasing them out of my garden. You know what I think it is? I think it's a conspiracy. They look at the last few times I drew and they're like, that dude shot a deer every time he got a tag. He's going to decimate the population. We can't allow him to draw anymore.
Got to stop him, man.
It's just a nod to my marksmanship.
Hey, what unit are you applying in?
I'm out in the Badlands, but I'm putting a second in just, northeast of Bismarck.
Matt,
go chase some whitetail around.
And this will make some people mad, but you always have an invitation on my place. That's 3F2.
There's going to be extra tags in 3F2. I can promise. Probably buck tags, really, too. Even if you're, are you a meat hunter, Matt, or do you give a shit? You just want
to? I've got lots of kids to feed, and I took a voluntary position as chair of the Republican Party in the state.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. That's not a paid position like a lot of states.
No, I don't think a lot of people understand that. I mean, I'm out fundraising to try and benefit candidates to, enhance our party. I do have some paid staff, but I'm volunteering my time.
Yeah. Hey, getting back to the deer thing, though, I don't know if your kids get the youth tag. Jamie came down with his daughter last year, and I mean, we were done within the first half hour?
Yeah, 30 minutes maybe.
So you got my number, man. Just you always, you're a friend, so you've always got a place to hunt down here.
So number two, I know you didn't get a tag, but what's your favorite? Not just your deer rifle, or what? I mean, overall, the guns. What's your favorite rifle? What you got there? Favorite rifle and caliber?
What are you in the ATF?
I mean, I wish I'd make a lot more money than I do in my regular job, but we'd all be better off for it. Trust me.
All right, I got a FUD answer for you. I've got a lot of modern sporting rifles.
I'm going to accuse it turning into a FUD, but go ahead.
I've got precision rifles. I've got all makes and models of different handguns. Mm-hmm. But my favorite rifle is the one that my dad had his high school friend who was a gunsmith build for me when I first turned 12 years old. And it's an old, hybrid Ruger, and God knows what else went into it. It's a 30-06. And I've used that to deer hunt all the way up through, the last time that I drew a tag. It's a youth size stock, which I'm entirely too big for. The thing kicks.
I like those. I say that too, man. But I like those small stocks. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh my God! The scope is from the 1980s and should have been replaced a very long time ago. But as long as I'm within, say, 300 or 400 yards, I hit what I'm aiming at. And after that, you're competing with physics in the 30-06 and having to lob the bullet over.
So you got wood stock or synthetic, or what do you got?
Wood stock on there.
Okay, man. Hey, that's fine. I mean, I get shit for this too. My favorite rifle. Hey, I got a custom made right here from Bloodline Kinetics. Shoots lights out. Great rifle. Inherited rifles, the ones I bought, and then some I built. My favorite rifle is a freaking Ruger American Gen 1, the Ranch. I mean, the short. I don't know why, but it's got like you say too. It's got the shorter stock, real tiny. And I got freaking ape arms, man. Don't kid yourself. But yeah, I love shooting that thing, and I'm deadly with it. And if it's a money shot, like your life depends on it, I'm grabbing that gun, and that's what I'm taking out and putting it on the line with.
It's amazing how precise those Ruger Americans are given their price point. That is a steal.
Like a lot of people, the good old days, I'm like, wow, man, when you're CNC machining stuff and you can replicate shit, because I work at a place where we have CNC machines. I mean, it's amazing how you can, the consistency, right? You don't, what makes you good or makes something good is consistency, not, I'm the best. Okay, you may be, but that's because you're consistently good. And CNC machining makes shit so that goes with motors and everything. You and Clay are motor guys and our sponsor. Remember how motors used to burn oil? That's not even a thing anymore because the machining is so freaking precise. Nothing gets freaking. I mean, you go 200,000 miles and you're like, wow, I'm not a drop low at 200,000 miles.
Yeah. Once upon a time, if you hit 100,000 miles in an engine, that was one.
Oh God! Even before that, man. I mean, I had old shit, 7-year-old Chevys, and yeah. But yeah, you're right, man. I mean, the Rugers, even they all got their cheap stuff now, but they make their barrel making so good. I mean, they don't look the best, really, right? But I mean, you want something pretty, you go, like I said, to Bloodline Kinetics and have them build you one. Get that nice Cerakote on there, and
Corey says Ruger 1022 all day.
Got one of those right on the other side of this wall.
I got a few of them. I kind of had an obsession with those for a while. I ended up with a collection of those alone. So.
I have definitely put more rounds down range from a Ruger 1022 than anything else I own, because I grew up in very, very rural northwestern Colorado. And there wasn't anything to do. So I started going to the range with my dad when I was 5. And, it didn't stay on the Ruger 1022 that long, but that was the most fun one to shoot when you're a little kid. Recoil.
I mean, even to this day, man, they're pretty fun.
Oh, they're still fun, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get the big mag. I mean, you got to have that.
I remember going out one time when I was about 18. My dad and I went out to the range together, and I was feeling like, I'm getting to be a pretty good marksman here. And the dad watched this, and I took out a Marlboro. And I put it out there and I split it in half with that Ruger 1022. And I'm feeling like I'm just took the old man down. He lit one and put it out and took off the cherry off of his cigarette.
Damn, I like that.
Well awesome. Done, old man. Well played.
Absolutely.
That's I do know that Corey is good with it because, down in Florida, you can hunt 24/7 on hogs. And let's just say that his 22 is accurate even with the one-eyed hound. So
shooting 22s is fun. It's no doubt about it. Took my daughters out Father's Day out to my dad's place and we did it. And I mean, it eventually got to the Ruger Ranch, right? And we were shooting the 223, but the majority of rounds were through the 22s, and that's great. And the handguns too.
Do you know what the number one caliber that's still sold today in the United States? 22 rimfire.
Yep.
Even when I worked for the NRA, it was the number one firearm that we sold the most of. It just was at our banquets, surprisingly.
But having said that, I got to say this: the number one center fire, God's cartridge 223. By far and away. By far and away,
hey,
baby.
You've got a bloodline. I have a genuine JD Breck AR-15.
You do, and I told you that. Hey. I didn't machine everything, but I did hand put that thing together, and that's, put your life on that one, Clayton.
Well, I plan to use that this year, no problems. Yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with it. I don't.
Doug says, "How do you feel about Colorado now, Matt?"
Yeah, it's a disaster what happened to that state because it's kind of like California. Really? It's a beautiful state. The weather's amazing. The hunting was great, and we just had such a massive influx, mostly from California. In about early to mid 90s. I don't even recognize that state anymore. It's gone so far left.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I won a skiing trip there. I think it was 2002 from Applebee's. Actually, I went in there drinking, and they're like, "Hey, win a skiing trip to Steamboat Springs." And I'm like, "Yeah, shit, I'll win this." Sure, shit, I did.
Close to
my buddy and I went there, and Colorado is probably the most beautiful state I've ever seen. To be
it's a beautiful state, absolutely.
And when we went into Steamboat, I mean, my buddy and I brought along. We were not into politics like we are now, but I'm like, he's like, "What's wrong with these people here? They're weird." And I said, "Bri, they're freaking leftists. That's what's weird about them. They're freaking." I said, "Don't even bring up politics here. We're in the minority. I promise you."
Yeah, we used to play Steamboat Springs in football growing up. So I grew up very close to there.
What was your position?
I was a lineman.
D or O? We're both.
I played both. It was a pretty small school. I remember distinctly one time, came down to, we knew they were going to do an onside kick, and I got the motivating speech, from the coach, and he grabs me like this, and he says, "Now, Matt," and he said, "if the ball comes near you," I'm like, "Yes, coach." He says, "Get the hell away from it. You got the worst hands I've ever seen." Said, "Your job's to go push people."
Oh. So you're like, I got like 6 sacks already this game, though, so you can't bitch at me, right, coach?
I was good at pushing people around.
Love it. Believe it, man. I believe it. That's awesome. Love hearing that. Dave, they're bringing back the bolt action. Bolt action pistols are cool, but I'm going to stick with my auto loader.
He said we need to bring back the bolt action. I said Thompson Center, and I forgot. Yeah, that's a break action, not a bolt action. But yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Ruger,
guns.
if I remember right, Ruger makes it the Charger, and I think that's a 22.
It is a 1022, just shrunk up. I do know people who have it, and they rave about it. They say it's awesome. Put a can on it and
bring back the bolt action shotgun. I used to have.
I love bolt action shotguns. You ever shot one, Matt?
No.
I'm not kidding. You get the bolt action, like the old ass ones with detachable mags. I'm like, this thing looks like. I mean, it's some Road Warrior looking shit, man.
Yeah, it is.
And we get this short barreled shit out of the NFA. You can just take the hacksaw to it and make your own freaking bolt action Road Warrior pistol.
Yeah, make that make sense to me.
Yeah. Even the parliamentarian, from everything I'm seeing, they're not. I mean, and she's a big Democrat. Thune can get rid of her. He should, but. Another story, but they haven't said a word about that. So as of right now, it looks like everything's going good. Getting the cans off of there, the short-barreled rifles, the short-barreled shotguns. Everything's looking good for us right now. It's going to go back to the house. I have no concerns. If that stays there and goes back to the house, we're money.
Yeah, too many people watch too many John Wick movies and have never shot a gun.
100%.
People walking in a mall just going, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
Well, and you got to remember too, we had so many people out there that were they were actually against the bill. So the big beautiful bill, setting that aside, it's more than likely going to pass in one form, right? I mean, there's nothing you can stop it. There's bad things in
this
it.
This week, Trump told no vacation, stay your ass here.
Yeah. So if we can get the NFA stuff in there, and we're not getting everything because it's a reconciliation bill. We went over this last weekend. You can only do certain things because it's basically a 50 vote threshold with the vice president breaking a tie. I mean, that's your threshold. So it's got to be finance, essentially.
And JD Vance is a big AR-15 fan. So,
but if we can get that $200 eliminated and get some of those other things, I'm okay still with having to do the background check if I can walk in there and walk out the same day with it. We'll work on the rest of it as we can.
Same day, shit. Yeah, you're walking out. I mean, minutes later. Yeah,
right. That's what I'm getting at. So, if it's gonna pass, we might as well have it in there, right?
So, Matt, what's your opinion? A lot of people are like, "Hey, if you're not getting rid of the NFA, screw it. We're not accepting it, man. We got to take our wins, man. I mean, if you disagree with it, that's fine. I mean, you're the man, you're the chairman here, but I'm just telling you, we got to take our freaking wins instead of right. And it's a big win if we get it. This is like almost 100-year-old thing, and this is
biggest change in 90+ years.
If we don't get it now, man, I don't know when it's going to happen again.
It won't,
if ever, really. And it shouldn't. I mean, we should get rid of this shit.
From a personal philosophy standpoint, I want to see people be bold and go for the throat. But the reason that the Democrats have had so much more success in these major societal changes than we have is because they understand the power of incrementalism. Sometimes you're absolutely right, Jamie. You got to take a few wins and try and use those to snowball up and get some steam and then get a bigger win. I mean, with our constitutional carry and stand your ground laws that we have now, that didn't all come in one legislature.
Yeah, this started back in the late 80s, early 90s, man.
Yeah. And I would love to see it just the NFA completely gone.
Right.
I would too.
It's probably not practical.
Hear me out on this, Matt. I think one of the reasons the Democrat, we know it, everybody. The reason they freaking absolutely hate Trump so freaking bad is because he's using their own tactics on him, and they can't. But he's doing it better than they ever thought they could, and they can't handle that. I think Trump freaking right.
He was a New York Democrat. He understands that.
Trump's a kneecapper,
Yes.
man. He don't mess around. He uses their own. He's like, you guys want to do that? Like, so they're saying like the executive orders, right? How many times did we watch it when Biden got in? And they're like, he did this many more than Bush, and this Reagan did this many. He did, and Trump's like, okay, you did it. I'm gonna come in and just like drop about 500 of these on you and see how you like it.
Well,
Right?
my hope would be that by him being so aggressive with those, that it would be mutually assured destruction, and we can all start backing off on this going
I
forward.
wish they couldn't do it actually, but
Yeah, it's too akin to me to the executive branch writing law.
right. I agree with you. I'm not 100%, but that's what I'm saying. He came out and did it. That night he got elected. The party, he was out there signing them. He just like rubbing it in their nose. He's like, you guys want to do this shit? I'm going to show you. Okay. I'm going to do it on a scale that you've never seen and see how you like it.
Yeah.
Right. And now they're going ape shit with their no brains rallies. Yeah, I said that right. No brains rallies. You know, and now they're going to disgrace the United States of America and pull that shit off on Independence Day.
Yeah, well, the last one that they held was actually during our roundup that I was elected at. So, we were in the building trying to conduct business, and,
Yep.
standing out on the street behind us trying to.
He didn't
Make
have
a bunch
any
of noise till they
lickers
got
trying to
bored.
look in there on you.
Yeah, no, didn't.
Hey, I'll give Charles something. Charles went out there waving his flag, and he didn't show any backing down. So I got to tip my hat to him going out there and confronting them guys.
We got to hit this comment from Brian here, a brother man on MVEO. As things wind down, let me say that I'm excited to see the future of the party. Matt, I think you're the right man for the job. Now kick the assets that need kicked. And
Amen.
Brian, I'll tell you what, Matt will do that. Matt will do that. Matt's awesome.
Matt's a man of his word. Trust me, he's a stand-up guy.
And Matt, anytime you want to come on, if you got something you think that needs to be said, just because
Let
Clay
us
and I,
know.
Wednesday is a regularly scheduled one, but we will definitely open up any special session you want to call us back for. We can.
We definitely do special episodes. There's no doubt about
yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, we actually want to start doing more. You know, Leon, you know LF, right? Leon Francis.
Yep.
Leon. Well, we were trying to get him on.
well-
He definitely wants to get on board, but I mean, everything's going ape shit in Enderlin after the tornado. But we'll get him going here. And,
Leon says when he gets his place all squared away, probably the end of the summer here, he's definitely in on that. So, like Todd, the radio god said, we're going to end up with the Guns in the 701 network. We're going to have another guy coming on.
yeah,
for a different show.
yeah. I mean, fundraising gets good. We're always up for a little sponsorship by the NDGOP.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there's a way to help that occur. To drive people to sign up and become members of the party at the NDGOP.
There we go.
So
We
There
can
go.
do
we
that.
have resources too.
You know what else we can do? I've always wanted to do this, and it hasn't ever come to fruition. I mean, with us, do like a fundraising shoot, right? I mean, is there something that blocks us from doing that with any legalities or not?
No, I'm sure I'd have to ask a lot of people, but
Do
sounds
that.
like a good time.
Do that. Let's do it. Let's put that together.
There probably isn't, especially since we did pass some different legislation for gun raffles. I imagine it's okay to do something like that too. So I'm going to do this then for you here. Right here. If you want to join, there it is. It's shared, right? Yeah. Go to the NDGOP .gov.org. .org.
Yep.
And then hit the join now. And this is what it'll take you to. So it's pretty simple to do. You just hit that join now and you're good to go.
I would consider that a personal favor for anybody that was willing to do that as a vote of confidence and trust in me. And, we'll do great things together.
And you can even make this a yearly gift. So if you want to do your $50 membership, make it a yearly gift, especially with Matt in there the next 2 years, that it's going to be spent well. And then you can talk about the priorities and things, give your information. But I encourage you to do it. I've been a member for quite a few years already.
Well, listen, if
there you
you watch the show and you know Clay and I and you don't know Matt, Clay and I are 100% behind Matt. Matt's an awesome guy. He's a great American. He's a great Republican. He's a conservative. I mean, we got a great guy running it. We got a great guy in charge of the NDGOP right now. Dave Fettig right here. I'm feeling pretty good about our new chairman. He doesn't seem like the greasy snake. like former. And I'm not gonna put Sandy in her. Sandy was awesome. I'm not putting her in any. We did have some greasy snakes, but Sandy was not one of them. Yeah, Matt, 100%. And I mean,
I can tell you right now, knowing Matt, and I haven't known him forever, but I've known you a while, Matt. He's a stand-up guy. He's got a lot of knowledge.
He's no bullshit guy, man. He's like Trump.
Yep. And if he says it, it's going to
with
happen.
better hair.
With
better hair. There you go.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'd rather have your dome than Trump's quaff he's got going on there, man. I don't know about that.
I cover up mine up with a little Angry Man Arms cap tonight. So see,
perfect.
We gotta,
and by the way,
hit them spots.
I got a couple more. Clay and I always talk about the million guns a month. We're at 70 months. I don't know how it's going to go in June. That'll be coming out soon. I did do my part. I will be in the background check, and I will tell you it was more than one gun. So.
All right, multiples. We like that.
Right here, yeah, absolutely. Read that one, Clayton.
Elizabeth, she says the only reason I would join is the new NDGOP chair. And I honestly, Matthew, I think you're going to see a lot of that. Like I told you, I'm probably going to get re-engaged now. I can tell you right now, I was feeling pretty like, wow, really? And why was I wasting my time? Because I was pretty involved, as you know.
Matt,
I was even in the executive committee, and I was like, you know what? I got a lot of things I need to be doing other than this. And I kind of gave up on it, but I'm probably back.
Matt, what would you say to people? I don't want to give money that it's going to go to the rhinos, and that's bullshit. I'm not giving any money to NDGOP. I'm a member. I'm always going to be a member. I mean, the worst of our worst is probably the best, far better than the best of anybody on the left. But talk to people who are this is kind of the thing the NRA went through until they got new leadership, right? So if somebody's like, I'm not joining NDGOP, I don't want my money going to rhinos. You're not a rhino 100%. You're not. Tell people why they should get on board with you.
Yeah, well, it has to be a two-pronged attack that people have to do. One is that, if you aren't a member, if you don't support the organization, I can't succeed without you. The other side is that you have to be involved in your district, because if you're involved in your district, that's where you can start to cut off some of these people that you don't want to see in the legislature and get in the right people. And then the funds that we're able to raise at NDGOP can be used to help support these people that you're electing at the grassroots level. So it really requires both. But again, I can't be successful without your help. I will do everything I can for you, but it's going to require a team lift.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better. That's perfect. And you're absolutely right. So you need to be engaged now. And I always tell people that, even I did when I was pretty heavily involved with our district. Join, get involved. Because you can't change it. It's like with the NRA. You know what? If you don't get involved and change it, it's not going to change. And we did change the NRA.
Right. I was just going to say, Clay, what changed the NRA? People getting involved. They got tired of the bullshit and they got involved. And the NRA is, I mean, in my lifetime, probably back to the, when Uncle, in the early 80s, maybe. Yeah. When Uncle Wayne was still kicking ass for everybody. But
I can tell you right now and I know several of them board members now, Craig Haggard, I know Jason Wilson. I know several of these people on there now. And I'm telling you right now, the new board that came in, the ones for change, they're making a hell of a change, honestly. I've had a lot of conversations in the last 6 months with some of these guys. I have high hopes for what you're going to see at the NRA. I really do.
That's
just like I do at the
NDGOP right now.
Well, David says, I agree with Clay. New leadership gives new inspiration and forward drive. Absolutely. And David was pretty involved. I brought him into District 31, and I bet you we can bring them people. We can put the old clan back together, Matt. That's what I'm getting at. And,
time to get the band back together.
Get the band back together. Absolutely. So anything else you want to do before we call it an evening? I mean, you guys are an hour ahead of me, so it's after 10 up there.
Yeah, Clay's he's still on snack time, man. He's got a little bitty snack he's got to get.
Yeah. Anything you want to leave everybody with tonight?
Yeah, it doesn't start at the top. It starts at the bottom, and it takes everybody lifting. We all roll in the same direction. We can make amazing things happen, but it's going to take all of us. We're citizens. We need to be engaged citizens. I'll work with anybody who comes and tries to, work with me in good faith, and let's move this thing forward.
Absolutely.
Right on, Matt. And I'll tell you, I'm not trying to extend anything here, but because we got the rift, right? We got and I mean, I know it. I know Republicans who aren't hard. They're not as far right as me. And I mean, I would say you and Clay are probably even a little farther right than me. I mean, right? But I mean, we got a little rift in the party. The Democrats got the same shit going. This isn't a Republican thing, man. I mean, is there any way you think? I mean, we're never going to get everybody to agree on everything, right, Matt?
Yep.
But I mean, is there a plan to try and get because I mean, we got the power players here on the, let's just for a betterment of a word, establishment, and you're coming in, let's just say you're the new wave, the conservatives. I mean, is there any way you got a plan? Are you guys going to get a meet together and everybody brings 2x4s with nails through them or something? And I'm kidding, but I mean, you got to. What's your plan to, for lack of a better term, unite the party?
Hey, unite the clans.
Yeah. Bring them all together, William.
Freedom.
One of the reasons that Trump has been such a successful coalition builder is because he likes to win. I think that's how you bring people back together. I mean, the human condition is that we're always going to fracture and factionalize. There's no getting around that.
Yep.
But if you show people that you have the ability to win, everybody wants to be on a winning team. I think that's the way that you address some of the divide. There's always going to be a divide, but it doesn't need to be debilitating, and it doesn't need to be as stark as it is right now. So let's find some things that 80% of us can agree on that are achievable, and let's knock them out. If people rally behind winners, I'm going to be a winner.
Absolutely, and that's right. That's awesome. And you've proven that because you won. You won the chairmanship against really all the odds against you. That was the truth.
Yep.
So again, congratulations, Mathew. I'm happy. I'm very proud to call you my friend. I'm proud that you're our chairman, and I'm ready to follow you because you're right. It takes people to get involved.
One more thing on a kind of a jokey note, but not, and I don't expect you to respond to it right away, but you guys are supposed to open at 8:00, and there's never anybody there anymore, man.
Yep. So during the transition, the headquarters building is going to be closed for a bit.
All right.
Most of the staff are on contract, and a lot of those contracts expired at the time of the election. So I'm staffing up right now. It's going to take a little bit, but I want to make sure to have a good team so we can be effective. And then doors are going to be back open, and we'll get to running again.
I'm sure I can handle your press conferences. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
I love it.
So, what do you think the new chairman wants to do, Clay? Why don't you go pound sand? See, handled, right? All right. Well, Matt, I think we're gonna have to have you out again, and like Jamie said,
anytime
you
want,
need,
Matt.
or you need to get something out, we'll go live. It will make it work, but we'd love to have you back, and I think we got a lot of things we can talk about.
Hey, let me throw this out there. When Clay's on Friday with Mitchell in the morning at some point, I think it'd be great if all three of you guys are on there. Actually,
that'd be a lot of fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I bet you we can make that happen. Heck, maybe I'll have to give you a little shout out on there. I can usually slip something in there with Todd.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to remind everybody that's the next show, isn't it? July 2nd?
July 2nd, baby.
The
All-American Outdoor Show, Clay. Governor Armstrong, Scott Bachmeyer from Dakota Prairie Outdoors, Clayton, myself. That's probably going to be a 2-hour show. Matt, you're going to be watching, aren't you? Even if you're camping somewhere, you got some phone service you can watch that on.
Yep, I'll still be around.
And I'm telling you, we're going to talk guns and shooting and hunting. We usually don't do too many politics with that kind of show because we're just out.
I'm going to be like, Kelly, man, you were on the show and I didn't get a buck tag. What's up, dog?
Get on Jeb over there, right?
Anyway, yeah. I know Jeb too. So Kelly stiffed me and Jeb. I got nothing. I got a doe tag, but.
Again, Matt, thank you. We appreciate you coming on and talking to us. And so, hey, everybody, there's your brand new chairman. He's a stand-up guy. He's a regular guy, and you can get a hold of him. Trust me, he'll answer. He's a busy. I tell you right now, he is swamped. And again, it's a volunteer job. He don't get paid to do it. He still has a regular job. You got to pay all them taxes that some of these freeloaders need. So anyway, appreciate you coming on, and we're gonna have you again. Okay.
Sounds awesome.
All
Thanks,
right,
Matt.
everybody.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks for staying with us. Numbers stayed good, so appreciate that. I hope everybody got what they wanted out there. We didn't get to everybody's comment, but we tried most of them.
That's what we got to have them back, man. I mean, we
We'll have
didn't
'em
get
back.
through it all, and when you got the man here, you got the chairman on, and stuff goes down rabbit holes. That's why you got to come back on, man. Hey, we might have to do a monthly thing with you. Actually.
Yeah, I'll give you a monthly update.
Yeah, I'm game.
All right,
brother.
Sounds good. All right, everybody, have a great rest of the week. I'm hopefully going to get some more hay cut. And Friday morning, 7:15 Mountain, 8:15 Central, I'll be on with Todd Mitchell in the morning. Everybody keep your powder dry. We'll see you.